I'm sure you've seen Moon
Yeah.
Knight.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So I saw Moon Knight too,
Mm-hmm.
as well. And I mean, my first impressions was just like, I went in no expectations, of course. And, I'm watching it and I'm not familiar, too familiar with the character.
Mm-hmm.
I've never read, I'll be honest, I've never read a Moon Knight comic book. And all I know is that the lead actor, or the two lead actors, I guess the antagonist, protagonist,
Mm-hmm.
like I know them and they do good work and they pick
Oh,
good
yeah.
projects.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is a project that's a good one that they picked. And I enjoyed it like from beginning to end.
Fantastic.
Just
man.
like with Daredevil, you didn't see the costume until like way later. With this, didn't need the costume to enjoy it. And when we got it, it was cool moment when it did happen. And yeah, like overall, the show's good. That's what I can say. Now we can talk spoilers too. Like I don't,
Yeah, okay.
at this point,
The spoiler warning is out there.
Spoiler
alert.
We're gonna
Yeah,
talk
y'all
about
gotta
all
say
the
it.
things. Like that first scene, man.
break it down. What was the
Just-
first thing from the jump?
I've told a couple of friends who haven't seen the show yet.
Right.
They were like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "It's great. You have to watch it." I was like, "But the first scene,
Mm-hmm.
by the end of it, you're gonna be like, eh." Because he freaking dumps the glass in his sandals and he starts
Yeah.
walking and there's like they have the Foley, the sound effects, like
It's
I'm
that
like, oh god,
that
it's
sets
gross.
you up for something.
I think it
Made
was
you feel-
so smart
Mm.
that within 30 seconds,
Yeah,
you had such a clear view of how much Arthur Harrow is
Yeah.
unhinged.
Just how he lives, talking to his goldfish.
Mhm.
He's got to
No.
unhook.
Arthur.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
glass feet.
But the glass, yes, we're
Yeah.
still on the glass.
Yeah,
feet.
like how
Because like the regimented, like he was
Yeah.
so brilliant that when he was doing his sequence of events,
Mhm.
he had done it many times
Yeah,
before. It was like clockwork. It was like muscle memory. Like nothing was out of place. It was always so meticulous.
Mhm.
And then
So-
the second he walks away on the glass-filled shoes,
Yeah.
and with barely even a limp,
Yeah, he was used to it. He just,
Yeah. You
could
stuff
tell that
every
he
At
day.
that
was
point,
used to it.
I was like, whatever his mission is, he's all in.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
I'm one-
full believer or whatever, a believer, or I don't know if he's supposed to be
And,
going
like-
believing or getting people to believe,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
and then seen that he had followers and shit, and I was like, all right, so they ride or die. These people are gonna die for this man, and
And I was wondering too, like if
die by this man's hand.
in some cases, yeah. But like, I was wondering, I was like, we don't know what his powers are, like how exactly he like transfers his power or whatever. I'm like, does he need the pain to like stay super focused, or like what is
yeah.
that for? We don't know yet.
Right.
I also thought that you were gonna be completely disgusted. Like dips his finger in the water and then like drinks from it. I was like, he's not gonna like that at all. He's gonna hate that.
contaminating the water.
Yeah.
Like contaminating the
And he
water.
doesn't even like people touching the inside of his popcorn.
Like, oh, no, with the thumb?
Yeah,
Nah,
thumb in
putting the
the
thumb in the
bucket.
popcorn. The movie theater is my pet peeve. Putting your thumb in the bucket of popcorn and handing the dude. When I went to see Morbius, which we'll talk about in a moment, I went to see Morbius, the dude did that. And I was like, oh, can I just get some of the hot popcorn? But, we're going off topic. How did y'all feel about, well, let me tell you, the scenes where he would blank out, we miss a lot of action and then it blank back in.
Mm-hmm.
I still didn't feel like I was missing action.
No, I felt like that was the perfect way to show it.
Yeah.
Because like
And
you immediately establish that like he's our guy and we're with him.
Yes.
And so like we shouldn't be with him when he's not there.
Yeah.
And that's fun to like just when especially when he's driving the car and
Yeah.
like, give me control, and then boom,
Yeah.
like he's got the gun and he freaks out. It was so good, just like all of a sudden his hand is covered in blood and you're like,
yeah.
It's almost like old school unreliable narrator. Like
yeah,
those
Right,
of us
right.
when you're like studying scripts and studying things, like it's so interesting as a viewer who doesn't know what's coming to be following a narrator who doesn't know what's coming. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
there
right,
are
yeah,
some
yeah,
movies where audience knows and character does not.
Right.
But when you are step by step, beat by beat in the same amount of space and knowledge as the character you're with,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really exciting.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it was a really good touch that every time he calls his mom
Mhm.
that it's a voicemail. And so like Like, she was never actually on the phone with him. So,
Right,
there's
right.
a thought of, like, she dead? Is this just another
Don't
coping
exist.
mechanism he has? Like,
But you don't realize
Just-
that until the very end of the first one.
yeah. The
Yeah.
first one, it could have been either way, and then you find out again. Like, he just keeps
I
calling
don't know.
that
I
number.
didn't
Yeah, no one's ever on the
think
other side of the
into,
phone.
like that. Oh,
He's just chit-chatting
Yeah,
to
we
nobody.
both were like, I wonder if she is still alive.
I wonder who asked the girl on a date. That's what I want to know.
Oh, the alter ego, man.
Yeah, I
Whichever
wonder-
one is the
There's
calm one.
contention about
Hey,
that,
man.
though.
Oh, really?
There's contention. I've been on the interwebs
all right.
because
Speak on the webs.
Mark Spector, who is the alter ego, the only other one that we've seen
Yeah.
Steven talking to so far,
All right.
we know from the comics is in a relationship with Layla.
Yeah.
All right.
So there is some contention as to why would Mark Spector, with an American accent, be asking out
the girl.
the British tour guide if he was already in a committed relationship with Layla.
That's true.
And so they're positing it's a third alter ego that we have not met yet.
could be. Yeah,
I was about to say how many do
In
we
the
know
comics,
of?
there's up to 5, but
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so far we only know
because the lady, he works with her, so if he spoke to her in an American accent,
she would wonder
she would be
why.
like, "What are you doing? Why are you talking like
Correct.
that?"
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting. Yeah, so I guess we can't.
So
really
is it a
count on
different?
him.
Is it Mark putting on the British accent to sound like Steven and still doing it? But yeah, there are some questions about who it was.
Okay.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
I know.
Also-
Intrigue.
The other, what was it? It was something else. I was wondering. What was it? The other, the flashing away. That was cool. What was it?
All of the mirrored moments and all of
Yeah,
Oh,
so
hell,
many
totally.
like reflections and stuff going on. So cool.
That was dope.
One
Really
while you
is.
think on that,
Yeah.
one touch that I loved and it really like stuck out to me was he's being chased by that giant like dog, like Anubis looking
Yeah.
creature.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the whole time it's just kind of a shadowy figure and it's chasing him, and then the second he turns into Moon Knight, the first thing you see is the dog trying to run out
Yeah, I
of the
fucking love
room
that.
and
Yeah.
it drags him
And it
back
goes-
in. It. Like,
yeah.
that tells you everything you need to know about
Yep.
how Moon Knight fights.
Yes,
Or like
that's what-
Yes.
his presence that he brings to a fight. Like you're
Yes.
terrified.
And we
of
got
him.
6 episodes to see
And like
more of that.
yeah, you got this creepy monster that's trying to get away from Moon Knight. It's like okay, this guy is terrifying
Yeah.
to fight.
Shit. Was there any other questions that came up here? Like y'all want to know what's gonna like next time?
Well, so I
Are
didn't
they
know.
gonna tell us
I think
this
either
or
of
that?
us, we didn't know anything really about Moon Knight either.
Yeah, I wasn't super versed on
So when he was in the hallway, and it was almost like the more horror aspect of that episode when he was in the hallway running away, and you saw that like skeletal bird figure coming at him.
him.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
the hell is that?
I've
don't know
done
what
some
that is.
research.
Okay.
Apparently, Khonshu, the Egyptian god that brings Mark back to life, that's how he's depicted, is as a bird, but not skeletal. The creepy as crap skeletal face with the floating head apparently was adapted for the show.
Oh,
But he
but it's
is-
not Contra?
It is Khonshu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it plays
they just
super
gave
well.
him that
But
look.
people were confused slightly because it's not exactly how you've seen him in the comics.
Yeah, which
he looks like
Marvel-
a full bird in the comics.
Marvel takes their liberties. I think this is a good
Yeah.
creative touch. I like it. I like
Yeah.
it.
It was
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
I literally, I think, was on the couch and I'm like, I know they said this is supposed to be scary, but I don't like
Is it
scary
supposed
things.
to be scary?
Yeah, they said it was like going to horror realm.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be a
Alright.
little-
It's like Doctor Strange a little bit. I wonder if
Yeah.
I wonder how scary Doctor Strange is gonna be.
Yeah, they said they wanted it to be like a horror movie, so.
I mean, I'm gonna see it anyway, but I don't like scary.
scary.
Like Haunting of Hill House. That type of scary
no,
we're
I
getting
haven't
into. Oh, you haven't seen it? Have you seen it? Jay?
I'll take it else now.
Nope.
She doesn't
Good
watch
stuff.
it.
Nope.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I'm like, everyone, you love it. It's great.
All right. Were there any other
I'm watching.
highlights that y'all of the show?
I'm wondering because there's a lot of like, there's fun parallels you can like find in comic book movies. Like you can see the boardroom of directors who don't care about any of this stuff.
Yeah. Because they
Like saying, "What was that? That particular like scene in the movie people liked? Do it again." So I'm wondering if people really liked the scene in Spider-Man Far From Home, where they the robot comes when Peter first puts on the glasses and hates the guy who's kind of hitting on MJ.
yeah.
Because it's a fight. It's sort of like an action scene on a winding road on the edge of a cliff, in a mountainous region. And I'm like, this is very similar to Far From Home.
I didn't.
Is it just like people like that scene, so let's do something similar to that? Or if it's just, I mean, it could be one or the other. But I was just like, what are you doing? Is it?
Just wanted to show he was in a different country. He was in a different country, right?
Yeah, like I think the Alps.
Switzerland?
Yeah, Switzerland, I think they said at one point. Yeah. What I really liked about it is that the creators really count on their audience being all in and paying attention and intelligent enough to keep up with what is happening. They don't pull any of their punches, and they don't string you along, and they don't hold your hand with a lot of it.
Yeah, and I like that.
There was so much packed into the first episode.
Yep. I was about to say,
a lot of questions go unanswered.
Yeah.
Also, when I saw that 45 minutes, we was going to have about 45 minutes. I was like, let's see what they do with 45 minutes. So, and they did a lot.
So much, but it didn't feel rushed.
No, that's what. Yeah.
Which was brilliant. Yeah. It's hard to put that much in and not feel rushed.
Like, we didn't even get, I would say, quote unquote, like, cool story stuff till probably like halfway through it.
Yeah.
Till he wakes up in Switzerland, and then it's just like, what is going on? Like, oh, now we're in it.
And the guys are waving at him. He's waving.
Yes.
And they're like, why are you waving at us out of nowhere?
One of the immediate things we said too, when it drops you into Oscar Isaac's, into Steven's room, the fact that they didn't show us Mark or how Mark got his powers or Khonshu or anything.
Right.
They just showed him with his nighttime routine of sand around the bed, tape on the door, ankle shackles, and like, again, treating your audience very smartly. Like, you get in there and you're like, oh, he's afraid of where he goes at night. And then the trying to not fall asleep with, like, the Rubik's Cube. And this, it was just so well done.
Him having a journal entry, so this is number 2 where I don't... We know what's going on. Yeah, I mean, it clearly touches on your point.
There was almost no dialogue, if I remember correctly. There was a song, I think, playing
like
in the background.
Doing his thing for a while.
And then the dialogue of whatever the sleep, trying not to fall asleep soundtrack was. But he had almost no dialogue.
And I loved Oscar Isaac's just like character work. Like, he's just so like you've seen him in other movies, like especially like perfect example, Poe from Star Wars. He is so headstrong and self-confident, and then you got him running, oh hi, excuse me, police. And then you get to Mark Spector in the mirror, and he's like, look, give me control, and he's like so like focused and like type A, and he's like, what? Like, it's he's doing a great job.
Yeah, but greatly casted.
Psyches.
Greatly
he's
casted.
So good.
Greatly casted.
Yeah.
I know he said he wasn't going to do Star Wars anymore, so Disney was like, we got this other thing for you.
Well, it was interesting. Him and what's the name of the other actor?
The antagonist, Ethan Hawke?
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
So Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke both said in interviews that they signed up for Moon Knight specifically because it was going to be, to a certain extent, like, disconnected from the MCU. Like, it was going to be more self-contained. There was going to be a bunch of like crossover with other characters. They were saying they liked it because it was so self-contained.
Yeah, I was wondering how they would get Ethan Hawke involved.
Yeah, like he's serious, like heavy-hitting actors.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah. But I do like how they didn't like not force feed, but like feed the audience shit and just let you figure it out on your own. The scene where he woke up in the room, it touched on your point of just us being with this one character throughout the whole story. That's what I love. That's why I think they didn't have to tell us anything, and then I think they didn't have to have so much action because that was interesting enough just to follow this character with this going through what he's going through. Just seeing that, like, for me, like, I didn't need any action in this episode. I just needed these, like, because they say it's the question that drives us. There was so many questions, like, what is he going through?
Yeah.
This is actually an interesting case study on people with this, like, disability. Disability or this affliction.
Yeah, probably affliction is a good word for it.
It's like disability, but
I wonder.
And it's scary in itself. That's scary in itself.
Losing time.
Yeah.
The fact of losing time is really terrifying.
So that got me all in right there. And then, we get the Egyptian gods and the scaries and all the other crazy shit going on involved. And, I'm
and
there
Donna.
for it.
Yeah, this random person on the phone.
Donna. She's rude.
You got any theories going forward of what might happen where it goes? I have no expectations. I just want to be...
I hope there's an episode. Like, I know we were talking about, like, I didn't miss the action in this first episode, like when he skips time.
Yeah.
I would be really interested if they had a whole episode where it was from Mark Spector's perspective.
That's what I was wondering.
Like, all the time he misses, we catch it on, like, the second episode.
Yeah, I was wondering, would that...
Or if anything, they might just keep the story going, but then switch it to Mark's POV. You know what I mean? Where
we don't go backwards in time.
We don't go backwards in time, but things that are progressing now we see from Mark's perspective.
Unless, let's say, like they do that, which I think would be dope. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We don't know what's gonna happen, but if they do like episode 2 is from the other perspective, and we're getting more information. Yeah, because he's doing something while this guy is sleeping. Like he wakes up, the board was moved and something was like that happened somehow, and to be able to see that, but as like give us more information as far as the story goes, I think would be dope. But and then like episode 3, it's like all right, now we move on from there. Because if episode 1 and 2 are from a different perspective and connect somewhere, I think that would be brilliant.
And then 3, it has both perspectives, and we can ride with both. Yeah, of them, and now we know both of them.
And then don't have to do that again. But I think that would be great writing. Oh, that's
the director has said there's something really interesting where it was, I think, like a Variety interview with him, that he almost took the season in 2s. He did not say anything more than that, except that he viewed it as almost like 3 movies. Episode 1 and 2, 3 and 4.
Oh, so they probably won't go back then. But
so it's very interesting that like he purposefully did not give anything more than that. Yeah. But that like exactly what you're saying, like Mark getting Mark later, like maybe Mark comes in later. I have no idea what that means, but it's really interesting. I think. Yeah.
All right. So overall,
great, man.
All in.
I'm all in on it. I have exciting questions that I want answered, and I'm ready for more.
Poor Steven. Oh, it's really crushing, isn't it? When he's not able to be the tour guide, like he's just his rambling. Just
want to ask you a quick question, isn't it?
It's quite crashing, isn't it? What? You just have
can't even answer a question. I know.
The steakhouse dinner.
She's a hater.
Oh, so sad, man. Also,
Sunday.
That was one thing I did want to say.
You're missing 2 days though.
One thing I wanted to say. What kind of piece of crap steakhouse are you running?
That is all over the internet.
The guy cannot decide what kind of steak he wants. Well done, then. Excuse you?
Yeah, give me a
well done.
The vegan should not be blamed for the well done steak. Steven the vegan should not be blamed. The waiter
it was
works
the waiter.
For the steakhouse.
The internet was blowing up about that.
What kind of steakhouse are you?
The internet blew up about that?
Yeah, offering up. You're a steakhouse. You don't. Well done. I don't know.
I'll give you a moment.
Well done is like, how dare you?
Well done then.
Like, okay, I guess I'll just have no like flavor or tenderness.
I also really related to Steven in that moment because as a vegan myself,
there you go.
I have had to call him. Story time. Quick segue. He likes having like pepperoni at home as a snack, and so I was at the store. He does, and I was at the store, and it said like turkey pepperoni, chicken pepperoni, or beef and pork pepperoni.
Oh God.
And I was like, which one is the regular
pepperoni? Meat overload. She doesn't know what animal pepperoni is from.
So like when Steven is saying like the best bit.
What kind of steak?
The best bit of that
best
one.
Bit.
I relate to that so heavily because I wouldn't know.
The thigh.
The
ear.
The heart.
Steak's ear. Oh God.
No. But yeah, that was quite humorous. It humanized him.
Yeah.
I don't like a bloody steak though.
You don't like a bloody steak?
I don't like a bloody. Do you like bloody steaks?
I don't take it rare. But
you like a steak?
Take it like medium rare to medium.
Well, speaking of blood, I know we all seen Morbius.
Ooh.
Over the week.
Nate, you're a genius.
I'm just saying.
Brilliant segue. Let's take a moment. Everyone.
Round of applause for Nate.
Round of applause for that
creativity.
beautiful segue.
Well done.
Am I being patronized?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. That was a beautiful segue.
That was great.
We dig as we go into Moon Knight. Episode 2. Have you both seen Moon Knight episode 2?
Yes.
Titled
Seen it
Summon
twice.
the fucking suit. Without the fucking. Let's summon the suit.
What? The fucking one? No.
Summon the suit.
Yes, we have.
I'll tell you about this show and how great it is so far. They're giving me more characters. They're giving us more characters, more fucking questions. That's just pulling me in.
Yep.
They're answering a little bit of questions, but then you're asking more that pulls you in, which is great. I enjoyed the Indiana Jones type vibe of action I got a little bit in here.
Yes.
The Moon Knight chase scene. We're going to talk about that. God dang. They took it's like, they was like, let's get great cinematography on every shot of him running on his roof or whatever we got to do. Make every scene in this running of Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Great. Jumping across rooftops. Awesome. And then Mark Spector's wife, Layla.
Just
a fucking G.
Ass kicker, man.
Yes. That's what we need by our side, is knocking mugs out. I was like, oh, okay, she ain't no, damsel in distress and that like that. Yes, she's stretching motherfuckers out. So, what are some of your highlights and how y'all feel about this second episode we got? Any highlights from it or anything like that y'all can think of? Any more questions that y'all got from it? Or any questions answered? Anything like that?
Overall thoughts.
So one highlight that I want to talk about is it was kind of a quick moment. It can be missed, but part of Moon Knight's thing in the comics is that his fighting style is very abnormal, and he will literally just take punches to the face to get close enough to you to take you down. Yeah, that's his. So there's literally a panel where they talk to Taskmaster, and they're like, "Have you copied Moon Knight style?" And he's like, "I don't want to." And they're like, "Why?" Because he takes too many hits on purpose.
That was in the comic?
Yeah, he's literally like, "Hell no, I'm not copying him. That's the worst."
I like that.
Like, because he literally, and in the scene where the jackal is chasing him across the rooftops, the way he eventually gets him is he baits him in, then he jumps, catches him midair, stabs him on the thing, and then if you notice, after he puts him on the pike, he doesn't superhero land. He hits the side of a freaking monument and falls to the ground. He was totally willing to take that hit to take out the jackal, and now it's exactly his fighting style. And so I love that they threw that in there. They didn't just have him superhero land and was like super good.
Superhero landing.
Yeah.
Mr. Knight. Mr. Knight. Oh my goodness. Do y'all? Steven is in control of Mr. Knight.
Yeah.
Is that
Correct.
what y'all got?
Yeah. Steven was in control.
Which is different. That's a Marvel Universe retcon.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Because in the comics,
Mr.
Mr. Knight is a whole nother persona. He's like the Batman detective persona. And so Stephen Grant and Mr. Knight are not associated in the comics.
Right.
They have made, which is a brilliant decision, to change the costumes and basically have the Mr. Knight persona be connected to Stephen Grant and the Moon Knight be connected to Mark Spector. Because now, going forward, whichever suit we see, we immediately know who's in control.
And who's,
so instead
which
of
is
like
brilliant.
5 different personalities?
Yeah, Mr. Knight and Stephen Grant were 2 of the 5, basically. They were just separate completely.
Something like, so... I mean, the question that came up with that was just like, how did he get the Mr. Knight suit and not know that he can do that? And
I mean,
he says it.
He's just saying. He just keeps hearing Mark say, "Get the suit, get the suit,
Layla
get the suit."
summon the suit,
and
he thinks of a 3-piece suit.
Yeah. So I mean, he might be. The more he learns about Khonshu and like how much power he has or whatever, maybe he's somehow able to tap into it.
Right. Okay.
More and more, the more he learns. So. That could be like, narratively.
Yeah, that's all.
I don't really need an excuse. He figured out how to do it on accident.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. What I gather from it, what I think they're saying is that calling on Khonshu's power, like opening up to Khonshu's power, it manifests in a suit of sorts that has Khonshu's abilities.
Gotcha.
So I don't necessarily think that it has to be the Moon Knight costume in order to get the abilities, because you see Steven when he's in the Mr. Knight, like. The first thing you see almost is him trying to get up on that piece of metal on the car, like the front bumper, and completely crush it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's immediately like he does have the same powers as Mark, but he does not know how to harness it the same way.
And when they're talking about it a little bit later, he's like, "You told me to get a suit." He goes, "I meant the ceremonial armor that was in Khonshu's tomb." So like clearly, when Mark got possessed or became his avatar, he saw the ceremonial armor and was like, that's the guy. Yeah. That's what I want to look like when I'm fighting crime. Like, so that's you probably get to choose kind of like how you transform.
Yeah, that's
and
what
I heard.
Like,
I heard some criticism that I hated
about,
and I thought
was
very like short-sighted. That they were like, oh god, it's like a cheap Deadpool they're trying to do, and I'm like, the only thing you have is that like it's a solid face mask with CGI eyes. Who's being goofy, but they're goofy for totally different reasons.
They're not the same.
It's a white fucking like not 3-piece suit. It's a white suit.
Yeah, they were just saying like the face looks similar, and he's like being a silly crime fighter, but like
he's not being silly.
He's a like Deadpool is sarcastic because he knows what he's doing, and he can be silly while he knows what he's doing. Steven has no idea what he's doing, and he gets a burst of self-confidence because he happened to like realize that he's got some power now, so he's just like
on this whole power trip. And it's like,
I think that's
totally
the main
different.
distinction. I think that's the main distinction of Deadpool when he's being silly. It's because, as we know, Deadpool breaks the fourth wall. So he has a sense of self-awareness that all other characters don't. So he almost is being silly for, like, the viewer's sake.
Yeah. That's
Oscar Isaac, his Stephen Grant,
Steven's
is
just Steven.
not purposely being silly.
no, he's trying to be cool.
And that's why it works.
Like a butterfly sting like a
That's
bee.
why it works. Because Stephen Grant is in his mind looking like the coolest motherfucker out there.
Oh, God.
And he's like, I look so cool right now.
Yeah.
Look at me go. And it's that dichotomy that makes us laugh.
And I think
because
that's-
we're like, you look absurd right now.
I think
but we
that's
love it.
part of why his suit came the way it did, because he was trying to, like, maybe in his mind look the part for Layla.
Yeah.
Because he might be
maybe,
Marshall look
yeah.
good. Yeah.
And then, like, with Deadpool, we laugh with him, we laughing at.
Yeah.
Well, also,
It's
we
a
have to
thing,
remember
too.
at this point, Steven has never seen the Moon Knight costume that Mark wears.
Yeah.
He's never seen it.
Yeah.
He's been behind the
So
wall.
when she says suit, he's
That's
thinking,
true,
all right,
yeah.
it looks
So
sharp
you
for
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like he doesn't even have a frame of reference of like, oh, I need it to look like Mark's suit because he has never been in control and cognizant when Mark has been in his suit.
Yeah.
So he's never seen it before.
Yeah.
So yeah, he wouldn't know.
Also love that he tries to get like the fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee thing, but he doesn't get the right. It bugged the
Yeah.
crap out of me the first time I heard it, and then I realized it was intentional that
Yeah.
he doesn't finish like he doesn't fit into the meter. Like fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm Steven with a V, and it doesn't go as long as it should. There should be like 2 or 3 more syllables,
Yeah.
but there aren't. And I was just like, "What are you doing, man? You can't even like."
You can't even say the phrase right.
Yeah, it was like
I
the meter's not correct.
loved. I feel like
It's a great choice.
we watched the episode twice.
Yeah.
I feel like I almost loved it more the second time.
Okay. Well, yeah, the first time they throw in all types of.
I mean, it was just, but I was enamored the first time too, because as
Right,
you
right.
said, they're giving you just enough answers and just enough questions
yeah,
that you
yeah.
just want to keep going on this journey. But the Arthur Harrow scene with the lentil soup scene, as it's
Yes.
been being called
Yeah,
on
we
the,
get
on the
into that.
Reddits and
Yeah.
stuff. I think that was my highlight for like
Yeah.
overall impressions. That entire, I mean,
We learned a lot.
What is it?
Is he telling you to kill me? Yeah.
I think the when he's like the child is not a diseased limb.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that's the shit that got to me. He was like,
That was a really weird moment to see Steven like just be like pretty straight up for the first time.
sometimes
And like
the
this whole
cure is
thing
a
where he's
bit
like,
of disease.
yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
that's weird to say. That's not cool.
well, one of the best
Like-
things too that Oscar Isaac's been doing, because like, you know, this Moon Knight is kind of an absurd character. Like he's not a Steve Rogers. He's not like a straight lace. You know, he's a little bit kooky and weird and odd. But Oscar Isaac is putting in these small, with Steven especially, these small little like beautifully tender moments where, you know, he's saying, I wonder if Khonshu chose you because your mind was so easy to break, or if it was because you were already broken. And
Oh.
Steven,
Who said that?
so Arthur Harrow, when he first gets him out of the car, they
Yeah,
see
that's-
Khonshu behind
okay.
him. That's what he's talking about. Like, it must be so
Right,
hard
right,
with
right.
all those voices in your head. You, Mark, Khonshu.
Mm.
And he tells him, I wonder if that's why Khonshu chose you as your avatar, because he knew your mind would be so easy to break, or because he knew you were already broken.
Mm-hmm.
And Steven, they give just such a breath at that moment where he says, I'm not broken.
Yeah.
I just need help. And it was like,
Uh-huh.
and we pretty
Steven.
quickly moved on from that too. Like they gave just enough time for that moment to sink in.
Mm-hmm.
But then Arthur Harrow was like, well, come with me. You know, we'll continue the conversation.
Right.
So they didn't, it's not like they were like, look at this moment. You know, if you could have missed it easily.
Yeah.
But Oscar Isaac was just so genuine in that moment.
Yeah.
It really stuck with me. It was so good.
Yeah, he's doing a phenomenal job.
He's
I mean,
doing
we mix
such a
between these two characters who are like, well, I won't say polar opposites, but
Yeah.
I mean, Steven ain't no punk. Like,
Yeah.
as far as bottom line, when like a person that has heart, like he has heart.
He's got his heart.
That's
He's
why
just-
when he
yeah.
said about the kids, he's like, well, I'm not.
He's
with the
just a
killing
little
kids and
socially
shit like that.
awkward.
So, you know,
I know.
I think, you know, if it came down to it, like, he would protect Layla if he could.
And he did.
Yeah.
You know, when he stepped up,
up,
he was in the
did.
suit. He stepped
Yeah.
up.
And then, like,
He
so
said,
he
"I
ain't
think I
killing
can."
kids. He has his moral compass is in the right
Yeah.
spot. People like that, he ain't dangerous, but like he can be a threat. Like, or he can
Yeah.
be a force to fight
Yeah.
back. He ain't, you know. But
There was a.
okay.
I'm really looking forward to just seeing we saw a lot more in the second episode, but the physical differences between Mark and Steven, like we actually got to see Mark walking around and like being Mark for a little while.
That's why you cast.
And you could instantly tell that it was Mark. So I'm really hoping in like the next 4 episodes that we get, there are parts where maybe we're following Layla and she's got to like whoop some ass somewhere, and then she comes back and we don't know who's in charge, and it'll clearly just rely on Oscar Isaac. Like you're standing there looking at him, you're like, that's Steven. Like I'm so excited to like look and be like, that's Steven. Oh, now he's Mark. Like you can see like you can totally see the difference between the two.
The CCTV footage.
Even when he walks out.
The CCTV footage is the perfect example of JB going.
When he walks out and he looks at the screen, he's just
going,
like,
well, that's you, isn't it?
Me.
And he goes, that's not me.
That's not me.
Yeah, you can see it in his eyes. It's not him.
Yes.
Also, I wanted to talk about a weird parallel that happened between Morbius and the second episode of Moon Knight. They both had scenes with long hallways and lights that only turn on when you pass them.
When I was watching them, I was like, what you doing? I blame Morbius. What you doing, Morbius?
Because which would I
lights like
first? Yeah, I was like, why would you design it that way? I guess it would save power, but this is dumb. Yeah. And then I saw it in Moon Knight and I was like, they're doing that shit again.
Places are like that.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Because they only have the motion sensitive in front of the
I've never worked in a
storage
place like
unit.
that. That is so weird.
But I know hospitals, definitely, because they try to save energy.
They're
certain floors, though.
They're operating on
but that
different margin. But yeah.
So that was a lot of in detail overall impression.
But they did a great... I think they did it better in Moon Knight than they did in Morbius.
How can we help it?
Morbius. Yeah. Okay. I like when Layla and Steve were on the bike. He didn't know where to put his hand.
Oh, yeah. Stop putting your hand on my shoulder. So where do I put it?
I didn't appreciate the shady-ass detectives. Get the fuck out of my house. Don't just be busting in my door.
Yeah.
Well, you knew immediately they weren't detectives. And they did a brilliant job of that.
Oh, man.
And it was...
snatching stuff out of my bag. What is going on? I'm not going with y'all nowhere. First of all, hold on. Get your hands on me. But
so they tried to do it with a bunch of context in this in the show, but Layla... her biggest like kudo that she gets, like first she found him, like she traced his phone, found him and immediately where he was, and then cops bust in, she dips.
Yes,
she's smart enough to get the hell out of there.
I like her pants.
And then
her whole outfit was great.
Yeah, she walks in to the freaking the cult place, just straight up like, hey, what's up, idiots?
Yes,
I'm here. She whoops that guy's butt. And that's all, like, proving that she's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest kudos she gets is, like, Khonshu being like, yeah, man, that Layla, she'd be a great avatar. And it was like, so he thinks
who my next avatar,
she is like, as good, if not better than Mark, as far as, like, being an ass kicker.
Yeah. So, because what do you say? You might not like whom
as near and dear she is to you. And it was like, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
You ain't no words for that? But what you gonna say, though? But that made me think, I was wondering, has it been said, maybe I missed it, but did Mark have prior to Khonshu, one of them died or whatever, is Mark the primary personality who has...
So, in comics, yeah.
Steven is,
And that's what we're thinking is I wonder if the trauma of dying and, like, becoming Moon Knight after that
and Layla didn't
created, because... We don't know if
the trauma dying created the personalities.
Maybe. We don't know. That's the fun thing.
I mean, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Because, like...
So he wouldn't have had a personality thing prior to dying?
I don't know. I just don't know.
I think he did.
All right. But Layla probably didn't know about it. He tried to keep it under wraps.
So, my thing is... Because, like, people are trying to say, how long has Steven been there?
Yeah.
But... It's very, I mean, like we said, they threw a lot at you in this episode. There were a lot of details. But Steven has been with Mark as a personality at least as long as Mark has been resurrected. Because Khonshu and their agreement, they said it a bit in the... Mark said it a bit in the first episode, and Khonshu said it, that their deal was contingent upon Steven not getting in the way. So I believe that Mark himself had DID... before being resurrected by Khonshu.
Yeah, and then when he came to him, he was like, "Hey, but you got this." You're like, "Not in control of that. Don't worry about that."
Yeah,
he just pops up every so often and just shut him down.
Right.
Yeah, but I think one of the things... Sorry, Nate, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But one of the things that we were just talking about last night is... It is interesting because in the comics, Mark is the main main personality.
Right.
We follow
Yeah.
Mark in the comics.
Mhm.
And I think one of the smart choices they made to put Stephen Grant as our point of view character these first couple episodes
Right.
is because he became a really smart tool for the audience to learn as he learned.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Because if Mark, we come in and obviously he already has the powers because we know from, the setup of his room and the bed and the loft.
Yeah.
But because Steven is like an unreliable narrator in that sense,
Right.
we're able to learn about Mark, about Khonshu without it feeling like, here's some exposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
and
just giving
so,
us Mark's
and now,
thing.
yes, and now that I feel like we have that exposition, it really does feel like we're going to be with Mark for the rest of this by how we left off at the end of
Which
episode 2.
is an interesting way to present it to the audience, especially the audience that's not familiar with the character, because they're like, well, what about Steven? I thought he was the
Yeah.
No, well, he was our guy.
head person, and then
Yeah.
we saw Game of Thrones. People die and disappear all the time. So
Also, they must have, you don't realize it till the end of the second episode, but Oscar Isaac put on some muscle for this role. As I was like, when we were rewatching it, we watched the first episode as well. And it was like, man, they really put you in some puffy jackets and some ill-fitting suits just to make sure nobody knew you were ripped under there.
yeah,
Like, the posture helps, but, like, it's not until we
Are
see
you
him,
making
like...
changes for Steven and...
No, I'm just think...
You're just saying, like, they didn't reveal
Steven doesn't know how to dress. He doesn't know how to, like, buy a shirt that shows off that he has a physique.
Then he wakes up on the floor with his shirt off.
Yeah, and then like he's like sipping the thing, and he gets up. You see all his back muscles are like, damn.
Where are they at?
Not complaining.
Look at
Are
that.
they in Alibaba? Where are they at?
Oh, they're in Egypt
Egypt.
for sure. I mean, that's the thing is like he's like, where do we have to go to find this Egyptian tomb?
I can't wait.
And then Khonshu's like, what the hell do you think, man? Like, Egypt. We're going to Egypt.
Sure.
Can I do a weird tangent? So
Yeah.
it's really quick. But I was doing some research. I mean, obviously I didn't watch Sonic, so I slacked on that. But I was doing some other research and articles and podcasts about the show. And apparently in the credits they have like a credited Egyptologist and like an Egyptian consultant for a lot of the things in the show. And
That's
so one of the interesting things is apparently, I mean, I didn't know this. I've never had the ability to go to Egypt and visit. But in most movies, the pyramids are out in the desert, completely like
I've seen this.
empty, around nothing around them. But in actual Cairo in Egypt, current day,
Right.
it really is like it is buttressed against the city.
Yeah.
They're
Oh, okay.
right in the backyard of the main city hub, which is exactly
like
how it is in Moon Knight.
Yeah, like Transformers or something like
Yes.
that. Like
They're
all
like
the way out there.
completely far removed. Like the pyramids are nowhere near any civilization. And in the real world, that's not how it is. That's more accurate.
See, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you had the tangent because I
Yeah.
peeped that and I was like, why are they so close to that? I was like, is this
Yeah.
wrong?
And that was-
Is it just a Marvel thing, I guess?
No,
Like,
apparently that is how it's reflected in real life
nice.
when you go and visit.
That was like a meme I saw
So interesting.
a couple of years ago, but it was like this is where most people shoot the pyramids from, and it had like literally it had the camera. It showed the camera guy in profile, and then it turned over, saw the pyramids, and he goes, "Here's what you don't see." And he walked in front of the camera, and you just saw the bustling town behind him, and he was like, "Yeah." It was just so funny. It was like,
Yeah,
it really is a whole
I didn't
town
know
just
that.
right next door.
That's what's up.
Great.
So people just living out there looking at the pyramids. Huh?
Yep.
All day. That's what your
And-
backyard looks like.
There are security around there, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up something too. I swear.
There was
I'm
a
not being rude.
speaking of the pyramids and such, the museum, and the girl at the museum. People were wondering, is that third personality because who asked her out?
Who asked her out?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
So
It definitely wasn't Mark.
I don't think it would be
So
Mark.
Mark wasn't Mark.
Mark is married.
Mark is
Or-
married.
he's
Mark's got a
going,
girl, and he's still very
He ain't
attached
got
to her.
time for that.
Clearly,
He ain't got the time for that.
yeah, he's a super spy.
And then we know, Steven didn't ask.
Steven ain't
somebody
gonna
out.
do it.
So there's gonna be a third one, and there are 5 personalities. I think he has 5 personalities in the comics,
5,
right?
yeah.
So we covered 4 of them so
Yeah.
far.
But now Mr.
Oh, no,
Knight and
but-
Steven are combined in the show.
Moon,
Whereas,
Moon Knight and Mark are combined
yes,
as well, right? They're
but
not
Mr.
separate.
Knight and Steven are
That's
separate
right.
in the
So
comics.
there could be 2 more people they present.
We don't know. Yeah.
Alright.
Fun.
And
Speculating.
there's one other thing, and I wonder what y'all think. And it could be nothing, but it's something I've been thinking about. What the hell's up with Golden Statue, dude? Who is he? Is he going to be somebody important?
Oh,
what's he doing?
we do
Is he
know
just
that.
Oh, you do
So-
know that?
We do know that.
You know, because I've
The
been looking
internet
up,
knows that.
Oh, the internet knows
The
shit?
internet knows
Ah.
it.
I don't like to look. I like to just take. I'm just soaking it up and I'm gonna take it for what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna just tell y'all what I think and everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let these guys. I'm gonna let these two. They'll do all the digging for the dirt and tell me about dirt. Tell me about dirt. What's up?
So basically,
I'm here
he's
for it.
credited. I can't remember the name right now, but he's a character from the comics.
Okay.
The name he's credited as, and he's basically like he's an informant for Moon Knight. It's kind of like a street level guy, and he tells Mark the kind of goings on around the town, which is perfect for being a mime and just sitting there. And
what Steven's doing?
In the comics he tells Mark what's going on. And
what's
then,
going on with Steven, or just what's going on?
No, just going on in the city.
In the city.
So he'd probably be an informant.
So he's
Mark
credited.
To tell him what Steven's doing when
he's credited as that character in the show.
There we go. Okay.
So it could be interesting if they want to like reveal that the Golden Man was talking to Mark and being like,
"Hey, Mark,
Steven was here the other day and he was telling me some shit."
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be fun.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll touch on like why Steven confides in him and uses him as a journal and everything too.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just an instinct from being a farmer. That's dope though. I like it. I like it and I'll take it. Yes. I was also curious watching this show. What are the extent of Arthur's powers from Amit? Because he bringing jackals up out the ground. What else can he do?
Yeah.
I wonder. Can he fight? He got
and
hands?
the magic is
hands?
purple. We had a big debate last week about
the
color-coded
magic.
magic. We're back again for part 2, color-coded magic, baby.
So what's this color mean? What's this color?
We don't know. I mean, we don't officially know.
Yeah, we don't know.
But people were wondering if he's drawing power from the dark dimension.
The dark dimension. All right. Because it's purple.
Because it's purple.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what Caecilius' power looked like in the first Doctor Strange.
I wonder if we'll be able to see Khonshu versus Amit.
And Agatha Harkness's
maybe
purple
over top of
magic.
That's true, but hers is just standard magic. That was the whole thing, is that hers is standard magic and red is chaos magic.
When the witches were taking her power,
they weren't using
was it all
purple. No, it wasn't. It was just Agatha once she turned on them and turned on her coven.
Yeah, but hers is a standard type of magic, whereas
so they were trying to use chaos magic to take her out? We're talking about WandaVision now.
No, is the fact that Wanda uses chaos magic and the other witches use a different type of magic.
Yeah, but what we're saying is the other witches didn't have the purple color.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
Agatha.
the purple magic isn't special in any way.
Why are we arguing about this again? What I'm trying to say is Agatha specifically turns down a dark path by betraying her coven, and that is when her magic manifests as purple. So what I'm saying is, I'm trying to agree with you when you're arguing with me. It lines up to the fact that she could also be pulling from a darker source of magic than the other coven members.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I have to watch it again.
I got to too.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I had said nothing about chaos magic. We know chaos magic's good.
What our big argument was when we were watching this episode was at the end. What's the guy's name with the cane? What's his name?
Arthur Harrow.
Arthur.
Yeah.
So Arthur walks up to that homeless man who'd picked up the scarab.
Yes.
And he says, "Hey, friend, I can offer you
just kill
food
him.
and I can offer you shelter, but I can't let you have that." And he takes it, holds his hand, and then he dies.
Sorry, you're not going to be able to see.
The world we create.
But here's the question we were having, and like the discussion we got into was my reading of the scene was that he judged him because he offered him food, shelter, and then he held his hand, and then he died. So I was like, did he do the scale thing and judge him? Like, does he need the cane and all of like the theatrics of it, or can he just literally touch you and judge you right there?
The cane? You think he needs the cane?
I don't think
That's
so.
what we were discussing.
I think
we don't think he needs the cane.
I think he judged him where Mariah thinks he might have a different power where he can just kill you if he wants to.
I think he judged him there too.
Yeah, I think he judged him.
Because like when he was saying about the kids and stuff, and he was like, the diseased limb, and like you got it, like the cure is the poison. Sometimes the cure has poison and all that. I think like if he randomly touch anybody in the streets or something like that, and he finds out that you're not going to be good in the future, he's like, oh.
But I guess we had a lengthy discussion discussing this, but it's not even the sense of like, did he judge him or did he not judge him? Arthur Harrow's character from this point has been trying to put his morality on a pedestal, and like he has the higher morality of the people around him. And so from this point, we have not seen him judge anyone unless they were willing he always says, like, are you willing to accept the scales no matter what they lie? So that's what I'm saying, is that this man, if he did judge him and it was false and that was what caused him to take his life force, the sense of morality that he's touting is still not there. Because this man who just picked up a scarab, found himself in the path of Arthur Harrow, most likely in that 2 seconds we saw in an interchange with him, did not ask to be judged, did not want to be a part of this cult, did not believe in Amit the way the people in Switzerland did.
I'll have to watch it again.
I think it could be just for like the cult thing, and him like asking people to step forward just for show or just for them. He's out there by himself. No one around except like Layla saw him.
Yeah.
Like,
and the king gives him powers. I don't necessarily think, I think you are absolutely right, where the swinging of the cane, even maybe the tattoo of the scales, is completely for show.
Yeah, that might be for show.
Because I think that he has the powers of like opening the portal, summoning the jackal. Right. I think he might have more power at his discretion than he lets on.
Yeah, because he could, the judging might be, he probably can kill everybody.
That's what I'm thinking.
Matter. And that's why Amit chose him.
I don't think so.
You don't think he has a power already?
No. Well, I think the judging is coming from Amit, right? I think that is coming from Amit because
that power.
He's so genuine in that first episode where he does the. I mean, he might just be a really good actor, and that's part of who Arthur is.
People who have
like he does the thing, and he like it goes green, and he's like, "This is a good man," and he's like having a really like passionate response to that, and they're like, I believe you, like at least as a viewer, I was like, I believe that Arthur really cares like about his mission, like he really cares about these people.
But the people who get scaled the other way gotta go though.
Yeah, and like he loves them as well, but he's like, yeah, sorry, you gotta go.
But I do think when he touched them, maybe something when he touched the homeless guy, it could be something that's out of his control. Like, all right, you've been judged. I can't just let this guy walk away.
So that's the question.
If he told him, I'll give you shelter and money, I think he really would give him shelter and money.
I want to watch it again. Maybe
probably gave him some money and let him walk off.
I want to watch it again.
He didn't have to judge him.
And see if the guy says yes. If he like offers him food, offers him shelter.
No, he
doesn't say anything.
No,
it just doesn't say anything.
It is within like a couple second span of time. He is grabbing the scarab as he's saying that I have shelter, I have food, and then the second he has the scarab out of the man's grasp, he says, "I'm sorry, you won't be alive to see the world recreate," and then the man immediately falls.
Yeah, I need to see or get an answer if he judged him or not. Because I mean,
they didn't show.
Because like,
I think they purposely did not show.
Yeah. See, more questions.
I need answers. I need answers if he judged him or not. Because that would be a really interesting...
If he didn't, I wouldn't say like if he didn't judge him and he killed him.
If he does just have that power, that would be interesting for him to have. Because now we know like Steven or Mark can't touch him.
Yeah.
Or at least can't let him get a hand on him.
He did, remember?
Yeah, but he didn't want to then. I'm just saying.
He was still curious about what was happening
there. But he tried to judge him and it just wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about.
You're saying like if he has the power.
If he didn't judge him and he can just kill you,
gotcha.
Now we really need to know that Mark or Steven can't let him get a hand on him or they're screwed.
Yeah.
Because that'll change things if he could just do that.
So Arthur isn't in the comics?
He is.
Arthur Harrow is a minor character in the comics.
With no powers?
With no powers. And they made him the avatar of Amit.
Okay.
In this show.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have any theories? Do we already break down all the theories we have going forward? Those all theories.
I mean, we did kind of go on a run. We went on a tear there.
We talked about everything, yeah.
But
I'm still loving the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's gonna go. I don't know, and I'm just along for the ride, man. I'm so excited.
Now it's gonna be like an Indy Jones style.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how all of it plays out because, like, we can't trust Arthur at all. No. He's awful. And also from talking to Arthur and talking to Mark, you can't trust Khonshu that much because it's always one more thing. And then immediately in the next scene when Mark's talking to Khonshu, he does that exact thing. Like, oh, don't worry, you like the jobs I have for you. They're good. You like these things.
The blood on his hands.
Yeah, and then he threatens him immediately, like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. And he's like, yeah, but the next person I use might not be, so then you have to stay as my avatar.
I think one of
so like no one can be trusted. And now Steven really hates Mark.
Yeah,
that whole discussion they had. Man. Yeah, he locked him in the mirror and everything. And
that literally segues into what I was going to bring up because I was like, one of the other interesting things that it seems like they'll give us the answer, and I hope we get the answer, is Mark telling Steven that I'm sorry, up until now we've been able to keep a wall between us.
Yeah.
And which again makes it seem like Steven has been around Mark's entire life.
Right,
You know, like I
right.
think Mark does have DID.
Right.
But it's really interesting because the question is, what did change? Because it seems at this point Mark doesn't even know what changed. Mark, Steven, no one knows why this wall that kind of separated their consciousness hasn't been there. It pretty much seemed like you were just out when you were out of the light, or like how Split says it, out of the light. But now you're almost fly on the wall. You have enough consciousness to feel trapped.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I think now that Steven has like used some of Khonshu's power, now he is strong enough to be that fly on the wall, whereas before he would just black out.
That's
Right,
an
okay,
interesting
right, right.
theory.
Because that's
Yeah.
kind of what Mark was saying. He's like,
Yeah.
you know, it takes a lot of concentration and
Just to
power just to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
And so now I think Steven has grown strong enough that he is at least aware of the world when he's not in control of the body. Whereas
Yeah.
before he would just black out.
Yeah. And not see nothing.
And I don't
Yeah.
know if you noticed it, but in that last scene where it shows Mark walking up to the curtains and opening them after taking a swig from the bottle, it starts on the mirror
Yeah.
and it's Steven in the mirror.
Steven in the
Yeah,
cracked
And he's
mirror.
like confused, and then there's just this look of like pure venom over to Mark, and it's like, that's gonna be you guys are gonna have to work that out. It's gonna be a real like Hulk Bruce Banner situation.
Yeah, man. Well, I don't think he can take over unless.
Oh no, I'm sure he
No.
can't, but there's gonna be.
So when do we get back to Steven then? When will Mark let his guard down? Like when we can.
But they were talking about, the director was saying that he wanted to film these because there's 6 episodes. He wanted to film like 3 individual movies. So I'm wondering if like first movie is mostly about Steven,
Right.
second movie, episode 3 and 4, kind of mostly about Mark, and then maybe we'll get more personalities along the way and they'll take over later. But I don't know.
Only got
I
6
think
episodes, right?
I think we're gonna be very Mark heavy for the next couple episodes.
Can I do a nerd moment
Yeah,
to
sure.
share with you
What'd
both?
you find? What'd you dig
So
up?
I can't take credit for this. I listened to that podcast Ringerverse. And so Joanna Robinson, who's one of the people, she's been doing like a little Egyptology corner where she'll bring up stuff every week. They talk about the episode about different things. So Marvel, devil in the details. I would have never guessed this, but she had been scouring like the Reddits, right?
All right.
Apparently the glyphs on the scarab beetle
Ooh.
that are the compass
The glyphs.
are
we
actual
Hieroglyphs.
hieroglyphs.
Okay.
They are translatable
Of course they are.
hieroglyphs.
Oh, well,
And
shit.
so
That's what's up.
the people who have Egyptology degrees on Reddit went to it. They
Oh,
actually
okay.
transcribed the interpretation. So the translation of the full text is, O Khepri, who dwells in his sacred bark, the primeval one himself, you rescue Osiris Amenhotep, justified. And apparently that is from the actual Book of the Dead.
What the hell?
And they're saying that I think one of the reasons they use that verse is because it ends with justified and the sense of justice, where the main overarching plot is whose justice is better.
I am true justice. Is he saying he's true justice? Like, I love them.
Khonshu judging and basically delivering justice after a crime has been committed, and Amit delivering justice before a crime has been committed.
Oh.
So I was just like floored that, of course, Marvel, and I think it's because they had that Egyptology and that Egyptian consultant on the show, that apparently they're saying too that there are glyphs on his Mark's
in the
Moon Knight
costume.
costume.
That's what I was like.
And so
the
the Moon Knight Reddit is apparently trying to get as many screen grabs of that as they
Yeah,
can
they're trying to
translate
see
those.
as much as possible.
Because they
what was
went.
the first line?
So
It
the
says
first line is,
was-
O Khepri, who dwells in his sacred bark,
Right.
the primeval one himself,
Primeval one. That's what.
you
okay.
rescue Osiris Amenhotep, justified.
So you primeval one.
The primeval one himself.
All right.
So interesting. Like, that is why they have lasted as long as they have, because they take such care. It's so good.
It's interesting though. I don't know if you got flashbacks, but when he was like, what's the other god's name?
Amit?
Amet. He's like, Amet judges them before they can cause any harm.
Yeah.
And I immediately flashed back to Captain America, Winter Soldier, when
Red Skull.
no, when he's talking to Fury, and he's like, yeah, we got these new things on our helicarriers, and we could take out guys before they can even like
Oh yeah.
do something bad. And he's like, thought the punishment came after the crime. And I was like, that's all I could think of. I was like, oh, they've touched on this before.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I mean,
Very
and
interesting.
Arthur's character, like, people can argue his case too. And be
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with that. We gotta get rid of him before,
That's why he's a compelling villain, though,
Pre-crime.
too.
That's the hard
It's like
part.
that's
Yeah.
why. Because is he saying, is he telling lies? No. Is it completely skewed and fucked up? Yeah, it really is. But it's not that he's evil for evil's sake.
Yep.
It's the classic "do you strangle baby Hitler"
Dear God.
problem.
Well, Deadpool does.
Like
I
like an Endgame with Don Cheadle. He's just like, yeah, why don't we go back and baby Thanos and we just
Yeah.
so good. And they're like, ew, that's horrible. No.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
He's like,
But that's why it's such a compelling question, because it's come up
Yeah.
before, it's come up in the past, it'll come up in the future. It's
Yes.
so
Moonlight,
excited.
Bringing the questions.
So
good.
excited.
Bring the questions. Keep doing what y'all doing.
Oscar
Questions.
Isaac, keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. Look up there. Look at the boy. I got to get a different Moonlight graphic. Look at him and his Silver Moon. Moon Knight, Episode 3, The Friendly Type. Disney Plus. Go check it out, y'all. Moon Knight, Episode 3, titled The Friendly Type. Wasn't that friendly. I wonder what they're talking about when they say The Friendly Type, now that I think back about it. But we switched the scenery to Cairo. There's more dope fight scenes. We got more excellent performances by Oscar Isaac, of course, switching between personalities. We meet some new gods. Layla got more badassery. We go from Indiana Jones to the National Treasures type of vibes. And this show just continues to deliver, in my opinion.
So good.
Joe, what are your initial thoughts on it, man, on Episode 3?
Um,
Before we dig into the highlights.
as like a big fan of like the overarching like Marvel plot,
Right,
the
right.
whole universe in general,
Mm.
I'm here for the freaking consequences of like, hey, I'm gonna get the gods' attention. I'm just gonna create an eclipse really fast and like
Yeah.
big like world of like they clearly show that like people are like, what the hell is this eclipse going on?
Yes.
And then later on when they're turning
Change
the
the
stars
stars and
back,
shit.
everyone is like, what is happening? Like, I'm so excited to hear the fallout of that. Like, I really hope Marvel puts some of those stuff, like put some of that stuff in other movies where they're
Yeah.
like, did you hear about this shit? Like the stars were just spinning around. We don't know how that happened.
Right, right.
Like we have no like all of our readings were doing whatever and like we don't know what happened.
Just.
Overarching stuff like that I love because there's going to be consequences in the universe hopefully.
Hell yeah.
Meeting the other gods was super cool. I love and I have questions like Arthur Harrow was brought to the gods meeting chamber
Right,
to be put on trial
right.
and then he shows up at the end and I'm like, how did you get here? Who brought you here?
And
why?
Why do they need you to see this? Is it maybe because he was
like a former Avatar, but like still why?
No, he is Avatar.
No, he wasn't.
What you call him?
So
So maybe he just needs to see.
no, I don't
Ascension
think so.
has been
I don't
passed or
think
something?
so. Like, cause she's locked away. Why bring him?
Oh, true that.
Why let him see that? Who let him
Are
in?
all of them locked away somewhere or hidden? Because that's why they have the avatars walking around.
Oh,
Well, maybe they're not locked away, but
no, but like he's like, and now Khonshu as well.
Amit.
Yeah, Amit and Khonshu are both now like sealed away. Like, I think that's the big difference.
Oh,
is, like,
I didn't know. Okay, I didn't know.
Amit
Oh,
is
that's
sealed
right,
and they're
yes,
trying
okay.
to find her to release her.
Gotcha,
Khonshu
gotcha.
just got sealed, but why
Gotcha.
is he in that room? How did he get there? Who let him in? And it's my biggest question.
Yeah, all right, true that. Who? Because he working with somebody.
He's working with somebody, and I don't know how the hell he got in there.
Gosh. Well, from the beginning, like from the opening sequence, I was gonna say like touch on that because I know you were gonna say you wanted to speak on Layla. But in the beginning, they break down a lot of shit about Layla.
Yeah.
Like that she has been in Cairo for 10 years. That's her home.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I knew that it was her home. And she stole artifacts in order to take them off the black market and resell them or bring them back to their rightful owners, as well as make money on the side.
Yeah.
Dad was an archaeologist, and that forger lady somehow taught her like shit.
Yeah.
So
Big ups to them. Does
Yeah.
great scene work of them, like, it told you everything you needed to know. The fact that they were just like, all right, smoke, boom, all right. And then she, like, instantly, like, takes it without looking, puts it in the laminator, runs it through the scanner, and then she's like, yeah, anyway. And, like, they're chit-chatting as they're forging this document, like, all right, you've done this a million times. Great. That's all I needed to know.
I thought she called her mom. I had to rewind it, but she said, She just said,
No, she's like,
I'm like,
she's
Mom.
like a mother figure to her. But
Yeah,
I
sure.
loved seeing that she is super capable on her own.
Yes.
And me and Mariah kind of said, like, I blurted it out when we were watching it the first time. And it was one of those, like, I'm super happy that I get to say that. It was when everyone's fighting later on at, what's the dude's name?
His name, Anton. The rich
Yeah.
dude? Anton, yeah.
Yeah, at Anton's place, when they're all fighting, Mark's fighting other people, and then Layla gets stuck in the pyramid with his, like, assistant.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, watching him square up to her. I'm like, oh, you don't want to do that. And it was like, oh, you're in a bad shape, my man. You don't want to fight her.
Yeah.
And then she freaking, like, takes the necklace off, and I was like,
I got that necklace part. I was like, oh, give me one of them.
when they were riding in on the freaking boat to, like, his estate, I was even looking at it, and I was like, she's a very practical person. Like, she is... you don't really see her wearing any jewelry or anything. Like, she's not fighting in a freaking dress. She's got boots on, she's got pants, and like a t-shirt, and she's ready to go.
Archaeologist
And like, to see the necklace, I was like, that's really ornate
all right.
for her.
Yeah.
Like, even if she's going to like a party, I still don't feel like she's dressing up for this particular occasion, because she knows she's on a mission.
Right.
And so like, when it was a weapon, I was like,
then it made sense.
yes! I love this character.
Same. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was something like when
everything's
you see
practical
her
with
outfit,
her. There's a
and it's
reason.
like, okay, like if she had a wristband on or a watch, not a watch, but she has like some flashy jewelry.
Yeah,
like,
some
what is that?
fancy
And then, like, stick it
bangle
off
or
and
something.
blew the fuck up and like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I love
That
that
makes sense.
it had a practical use.
Yeah, that shit was dope. I want to see her use it more. Dice some motherfuckers up.
She left it in the dude.
Yeah.
Stabbed him and left it.
Take it with you.
Clearly no sentimental value there. It was just, a knife.
I had that on my note too about the neck weapon. Well, that's why I called it the neck weapon. I didn't know what it was, but I want one, and they're gonna be selling them. I'm sure somewhere they're gonna be sold. Or people are making them right now. They're like,
oh yeah, for sure.
With they 3D printers and shit. But the other thing after the opening sequence, speaking of him switching between personalities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because there's apparently a third.
Yeah, getting another
personality
glimpse.
that
like,
we find.
Whoever asked out the lady to the steak restaurant.
Yes.
In the first episode.
So now we know
he has made a return, and
he
is brutal. Even like, because we always we kind of viewed Mark as the more homicidal man.
Yeah, and the first fight on the rooftop. Sorry, cut you over your throat. To touch on what you're saying, we see him in the roof fight. You're like, all right, we dancing, we fighting. What's up?
Yeah, and he's ready to go, but he's not ready to. He's not ready to necessarily tear people apart. You know what I mean? Like he's fighting for a cause. He's not fighting for the sake of brutality.
Right.
And so that brings up questions of like in the first episode. Maybe not. I'll have to watch it again and see specifically what Khonshu says. Okay. But there are bits like when he freaks out with the scarab in his hand, and then the next thing he knows, there's blood all over his hand. That seems more of like whoever this third personality is. That seems like what he's about. All
right. Because we were only hearing Khonshu. We didn't see Mark in Reflections.
Yeah, we hadn't heard his voice yet. So maybe Khonshu is aware of this third person, but maybe Mark isn't.
Right.
But yeah, man, because
some of the scenes could have been.
Yeah, because he's ready to tear people up, but he even hesitates with that kid, and a lot of it is like he sees the kid and he just slaps him.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. He slaps him
and he takes the knife away from him, and it was like, it was interesting. We get a better look at Mark, and they're like, oh, you're not like the brutal mercenary we've been like kind of led to believe you are. Yeah. Necessarily, like maybe pushed too far, you might do those things, but like just on a daily mission, you're not gonna, tear people to shreds and assassinate them.
Yeah, those like center rips up in the, and everybody just had them rips in the chest. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, the third one, it's like the difference between Batman and Punisher.
Yeah.
He ain't stopping, just ripping through people and shit.
Yeah.
There was there was a scene, was of course brilliant, as we talk about the different personalities, where he was in a desert and he's looking at, I think.
Oh yeah. They have the pieces of the map.
No, the rearview mirror, and he changes from.
Yeah, because they need to assemble the map, and and he's like.
He let Steven in?
Yeah, he's like, Layla's like, we need Steve. And he's like, and I was like, that's a weird choice, but alright, sure.
The side view. All
All
right.
right, cool. And then he takes him over, and he's like, and like that was
the way he played it.
Me and Mariah were gushing about that because that's the first time we've seen him change.
Yeah,
straight up on camera change.
Oh, yeah,
and he did it so well. He's just like, all right, Steven, we need your help. All right, and then he did so good, man.
Eyebrows is low, everything looked dark.
Like his eyebrows kind of like pitched up, is more of like a kind of, and his eyes got a little bit like wider, like he's a little more like calm.
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
That was dope.
I loved it.
I like seeing transformations like that. I remember actors like back in the day, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, seeing like the actor on the screen.
Yeah,
face just turned.
It's kind of like here, and then.
Yes,
and it's like, creepy, so good.
Black and white movies and so yeah, excellent job. Kudos, of course, and hats off to all that he did there.
I love the other switch that they did.
Oh, which one?
he's about to stab the guy in the moonknight costume at the end, and he's like, wait. He's like, no. Boom, turns into Mr. Knight. He's like, all right, we're chill the F out. We're gonna calm down, okay? We're chill.
Don't talk about it.
And he gets stabbed like 5 times.
Like, Steven, if you don't sit your ass down.
And he's like, Mark, please help. Mark, come back.
Sit down and stick to the maps.
Yeah,
stop doing the fight and give me the fight scenes.
You're the smart guy. You're the guy in the chair.
Yeah.
You're not that guy, pal.
Layla got best of both worlds.
True. She gets her smart guy and she gets her rough and tumble guy.
Hold up. Steven's single, though. Yeah, well, thinks he's single, I guess. Yeah. So, yeah, that was the other big fight scene. The fight scene on the rooftop I was going to ask you about, the choreography, what you thought about that.
I thought it was great.
The other fight scene was in the, I don't even know what that is, but at Anton's place.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he can get stabbed through the head, stabbed through his body and all that, and still be like alive and shit. I guess in that form, that's part of his like power and stuff.
They mentioned it at one point in one of the episodes. They're like, yeah, the specific armor has like healing powers.
Okay.
I think they mentioned it, and I think that's probably why Mark fights. It gives a good excuse for the reason Mark fights the way he does, like willing to take some hits to get close to you, is because the armor's going to heal him.
Okay.
So like taking that spear and pulling it in further to bring the guy closer to like grab him.
Right.
That's textbook Moon Knight. So it was great to see that.
And then what was the other? Oh, and like boxing with the weapons and shit like that.
Yeah, fight on the rooftop, also good. I think it showed better than most shows or like media how difficult it is to fight multiple people at once.
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah.
You're gonna get punched by somebody because you're focused on these two, and you get hit from there, and you're like, yeah, and you gotta grab that guy, put him between the other two guys, and fight them. You gotta keep a line and keep them in between themselves to like actually win that fight.
So I asked Joe because he is a fight choreographer and a stuntman, and what's the other? Is there another title for fighting on screen? It's just fight man.
Stunt guy.
Stunt guys or fight guys too. Is that what
it's like a jet ski sea-doo type of thing, like
jet ski doo.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
But yeah, so he does that professionally. So that's how I like to ask him about the fight scenes and stuff like that. The other one was just, I don't know, there's a lot going on. I don't know if you ever been on horses throwing staffs at people.
Not horses, but I've never been on horses throwing spears.
Yeah.
Should have done that at the Renaissance Fair today.
Oh, did you get on a horse?
No.
Oh,
no. There were horses there, and they were throwing spears there, but we didn't end up doing that.
Gotcha.
We just do knives.
As we're talking about Anton in that fight scene, the actor that played Anton, Gaspar, I think it's Uliel, had passed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it was before the show finished shooting, maybe it was, but he passed away on a ski trip, I believe, in France. And they at the end, that's what I was gonna say, because they dedicated the episode to him at the end.
Yeah.
So I was like, people might not know who that is, but he's played Midnight Man. That's who. I don't know if Anton was supposed to become Midnight Man during the show, and maybe they had to rewrite it beforehand. But
they definitely gave him a pretty. They made him a very like tenured person. Like, he talked to him like he knew some stuff. He definitely had history. He talked about Madripoor, where Agent 13 is. Where she's now the power broker.
Yes.
So
I was like, they're gonna be using them in the future, or we're gonna be using them in the future and stuff. But I wanted to read this passage they had in denofgeek.com where it says Uliel, I won't keep messing this man's name up, Gaspard, who made his feature film debut in 2001's Brotherhood of the Wolf. I didn't see that, did you? But was perhaps known to American audiences as young Hannibal Lecter in the 2007 film Hannibal Rising. I remember that. Was tragically killed at the age of 37 on January 18th, 2022.
January 18th, he died?
Was that January 18th?
Son of a bitch, that's my birthday.
Oh, in the skiing accident.
That's
weird. In France. That's your birthday?
That's my birthday.
Oh, snap. Gaspar was not well known on the side of the Atlantic outside of his lead role in Hannibal Lecter origin story, but he was highly regarded in his native country, where he became a Knight of the Order of Arts and Letters in 2015. So, rest in power, Gaspar. Thanks for the contribution to a great story.
Far too soon.
Yes. I mean, and I wonder if, like, because we saw how he exited on the show. Like, he was on the horse and, like, rode off into, like, I was like, is he coming back?
I was kind of hoping, and then we saw the memorial at the end.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh
yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, I was like, dang, so he's not coming back. But yeah, so that whole thing, the show packs a lot, and every episode packs a lot in it. Like,
so much going on.
We learned a lot about Layla. Got the fight scene, the rooftop fight scene, the chasing through Cairo, and then we got another dope fight sequence, and then there was the fucking Ennead caucus scenes that happened where.
Very fun seeing the other avatars come in, and
especially Yatzil, the avatar of Hathor, aka Khonshu's ex-girlfriend.
Quality.
I think goddess of music and love.
Quality.
And I see why. I see why she got some music and love. Yeah. I looked her up. But anyway, so they had a caucus, and she's just beautiful though. They had this caucus, and was Amit put on trial or the avatars put on?
It was Khonshu's put on trial.
Khonshu was put on trial.
Or no, Khonshu was putting Arthur on trial.
Yeah.
He specifically called it to put Arthur on trial.
Gotcha,
and
that's what it was.
They didn't find him. They didn't find enough evidence. But I think...
Well, was the only one in the room yelling.
I think Oscar Isaac had so much fun with that.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's just like, listen, you need to see this, man.
Yeah.
Oh, gee. Like, every single time he was like, he's like, please, I hate that. Please never let that happen. Like, you need to listen to me. Like, it was so good.
I see why every time I see the episode, I'm like, I see why this man chose this part, or not chose the part. I see why this man agreed
so
to
much
the part.
Fun, man. So much interesting stuff to do.
I want to see more from Arthur though. I want to see more from Ethan Hawke.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like performance wise, I want to see him.
Yeah, he didn't die this episode, which is good.
That's
great.
I want to see him. I want to see him get upset. You know what I mean? I want to see him when he's mad.
That's the thing. Yeah, he was more like.
He's never like angry, like, you know what I mean, to that point.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Like,
I think it's too late to be that angry.
Is it?
I think at a certain point, I heard it put a certain way, but like at a certain point, anger goes from red to gray, and I feel like that's where he's at. Like it's the fire's burnt itself out, and there's just like smoldering coals now.
Oh shit!
Like it's still hot, but it's not visible anymore.
Well, maybe
there's no visible chemical reaction happening.
I keep trying to get these flashbacks. Maybe we'll get a flashback.
I want a flashback.
To when he's I
want to see him. Happened. I want to see him like flip the hood off, and it's freaking young Ethan Hawke with the freaking with the Moon Knight costume on. I'm down to see that.
There we go. See what his Moonlight was like.
Show like a really brutal fight, because he said I love doling out pain.
Yes,
as your avatar.
Yeah.
So show him just beating the fuck out of people.
That's got to be the next episode, right?
Please, man.
Episode 4. Throwback Moon Knight.
Because so I had heard that like they had shown some business insiders the first 4 episodes.
Okay.
And what I had heard from some interviews and some stuff that people put out, they were like, episode 1 and 2, bangers, fantastic. They're like, episode 3 and 4 kind of slow the story down, and I have no idea what they're talking about. Like, you got to be out of your mind.
If episode 3 slows it down, goddamn.
Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, I have no idea where they got that from. Like, what? I mean, maybe that criticism was levied against them, and then they re-edited things and switched it up. But I don't know, man. Episode 3 was riveting.
Yeah,
I loved the whole episode. Like, like even now we're talking about the show, and you were like, oh yeah, that first scene where she's like forging the passport. I was like, oh yeah, that happened, and it was awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So much,
yeah,
so much happening. Oh, I was gonna. What was Khonshu like? The only one yelling in the caucus.
I think it was a really good.
Is he fighting? Is that why you think? Because he's the only one yelling.
Yeah, I think that was a really good choice on Marvel's part to really illustrate how like incompatible him and Mark are.
Okay.
Or like maybe it's because there's multiple personalities that there's turbulence trying to get out. Like there's multiple barriers to
so
try
it gets forced.
Yeah, so like everyone else is so in sync that it could just be like, all right, you are on trial for this. And then when they phase out, it's just like, all right, just another day.
Yeah,
they can speak through their avatars very clearly, and it doesn't hurt their avatars. Like clearly, it's uncomfortable for Mark. Like his whole neck tenses up, and it's like, so like
we didn't hear Amit speak yet, right?
No, Amit's still locked up. That's the whole thing. Is they're trying to free her.
But
yeah, it was.
I was like, why is he yelling? Is he just?
Yeah, I think it was just to show that they're not on the same page. They're not synced up. And I loved it.
It's dope, yeah. It's dope. Makes sense. I like it. See, that's why we had these conversations. That's why we speak out to other people and stuff like that.
Everybody sees something different.
Did I mention Yatzil? The Hathor? Is it Hathor, right? Yeah, Hathor. Did I mention her yet?
No, I don't think so.
The goddess of music and love?
No, yeah, talk about it some more.
Yeah. So I think, do you think I think she might.
Oh yeah, she's coming back.
Part. Yeah, and come back. She's coming definitely.
They gave her a lot of screen time. She's coming back.
Did someone tell you that she's coming back?
No one told me. I just think so. But I will say,
find her on the interwebs.
What I loved, another like small touch they did was when Arthur Harrow comes back to talk to Khonshu's statue that he sealed in. Yes. They really crank up the sound of him crunching on glass.
Oh God!
Sometimes it's impractical to have you hear it crunch like, everywhere he goes. But this particular scene, crunch, and he comes out, crunch, all the way down, and it really shows you why he's putting that glass. Is he's like, I inflicted so much pain. Yeah. And like the only way to pay for it, and I wonder if he's doing that. It could be an interesting motivation for him that like he's doing that because he's trying to balance the scales. He's trying to feel as much pain as he dealt out, so that when he brings Amit back, he's not on the red side of the scales.
You think she coming out there full swing? She don't care who you is.
Yeah, I think so.
Even her avatar.
She's just gonna come out and be like, I'm judging all, and then inflicting her justice on.
I think he might know though. I think he might know he's gonna get the red though. If she judges him.
Maybe like hoping against hope that he might be able to do enough, but...
Yeah, because I guess Moon Knight does what he does, or Khonshu does what he does, not for evil purpose, you know what I mean? Yeah. Even though he probably was doing it fiercely and just killing the hell out of people. When he was with Arthur. So
people gotta go.
What was the thing he said? He said he loved dealing justice and Khonshu's as his avatar.
Well, he specifically said he enjoyed inflicting pain as his avatar. Like, killing people was part of the job, but, like, I really loved hurting them before I killed them.
And what did he say Khonshu did? I forget. I just watched it. I meant to write it down. But, like, he said Khonshu is responsible for...
Yeah, because I think he sparked the flame. I think he's kind of taunting him at this point. Because he's talking to him about like how he's going to
you're responsible. You're gonna be responsible for like his victory.
Yeah, basically like rubbing it in a little more that like when I destroy everything. Yeah. Remember that you did this because you brought me. You put me on this path of like seeking justice.
That's what we need a flashback.
Yeah, I need flashback. I want to see Ethan Hawke in the suit so bad. Yes, it's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be episode 4. Please. Did we mention? I don't think. Did we mention? Yeah, they had the caucus. And because he kept fucking with the sky, they told him no. He made it in the clips.
Yeah, they're like, one more time. Then we're locking you up, bro. Don't make us do it.
Yeah, so he locked Khonshu up in fucking stone.
Yeah, and for what the hell does that mean? The stars. And he's like, and
going forward.
We haven't talked about that yet. Like, because they locked him up. Yeah. Does Mark have the suit? Like, is he still?
Can he summon the suit now?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I would actually now that I think about it, I would think he. I don't know if he has. Maybe he can summon the suit, but doesn't have like the healing factor. Because in the comics,
it's just a suit. He's like Batman.
In the comics, it's just a suit. So maybe he can summon the suit,
but it doesn't have the healing factors. Because I think as they were,
still gave Arthur some more power.
True,
So he can
even
still
from
do
being
some
sealed
more,
away. Yeah. Because as you saw when they were turning the stars back,
Right.
Mr. Knight's mask came off and revealed Steven's face.
Right.
And so I'm wondering if like that was trying to illustrate that he's losing this power to summon the suit. So I don't know.
Oh, I would not like that. Well, yeah, I mean, if it's just a suit, then maybe he doesn't summon it. Maybe it's in the closet somewhere. Then I was like, how's he get it? How's he going to get his hands on it?
This is the stuff I think about. Interesting logistic reason.
What's up?
Maybe there's going to be a lot of stuff that has to take place during the day. And I really doubt that Moon Knight suit looks as cool during the day. I think
for like episode 4 is going to be a lot of daytime shit. They in Cairo right now still, right?
Yeah.
A lot of daytime Cairo, the Moon Knight suit. People were saying that some people said they didn't like the way Khonshu looked in the daytime. Because like the CGI wasn't as good in the.
I mean, that's always the thing.
Yeah.
If it's dark, it looks better because shadows kind of hide and your brain fills in the gaps, and your brain fills in what you would have liked it to see. Yeah. You see things in the daytime, and you're like, oh, that's what it actually looks like. Oh no.
So maybe that's what if the people, the executives was like it slows down in 3 and 4. Maybe there's no Moon Knight costume in number 4.
Maybe that's what they're talking about.
But even still, like, nah, that ain't got nothing to do with it. You got a good story. You got a good story.
Yeah, I'm
can't wait
super on board. I'm on the hook for sure.
Yeah. I want to see. Do you think the gold statue guy gonna make an appearance? I think we talked about him before. Y'all said it was a guy and it was a character in the comics.
I don't think so.
I think he's gonna reveal himself to be anybody. Maybe.
I think he's done. I think he's done. I think he's done as far as like being super important. Like maybe there'll be on a tag in like the last episode where he goes back to UK and he talks to him again.
What about the Forger lady? Think she's gonna show up again? Lyles' homegirl.
Yeah, she might die.
I was about to say they're gonna hunt her down.
Yeah,
and
they might kill
for
her.
Leverage and shit.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we're gonna give a main character someone very close to them who cares about them very deeply. You're gonna die. You're super dead.
Oh, it was his other character. I was wondering if you thought she'd come back. This character, Yatsil, is Avatar.
No, we haven't talked about her yet.
You ain't talk about
Let's
her
talk
yet?
about her some more.
So Yatsil is the goddess of music and love.
Oh, love, yeah. Wasn't she like Khonshu's ex-girlfriend?
I think it was.
They made it pretty clear, like, yeah, they were very close.
Soon to be Steven's future girlfriend. Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. I'm down.
Yatsil.
Yeah. Well, that was what we hadn't talked about.
Hathor?
No, there's a character named Yatsil.
That's right. Speaking of
Yatsil.
music and love, I'm gonna go play some music right now.
Oh, do you want to hear that song that I like? The one from Moon Knight?
Oh, we're gonna have to pay money. But
royalties.
What did I say? Oh yeah, I was like, can we get around it?
No. I don't know if maybe you guys hadn't paid attention.
Muted.
But episode 2, the closing credits song that they use goes hard. I don't know what they're saying, but I agree. It's so good. I have it on Spotify now.
Look, he wants to play it.
I was working out to it yesterday.
I want the instrumental. The instruments. I want to actually write something to it. So
I'm sure they have it.
You send me the song title or something, and then
for sure.
I'll get the instrumental, man.
What's it called?
But yeah.
El Meloc.
That's it for the day. Dang, it was only like an hour for this one. Hey, that was it. That was it. I mean, I don't think there's anything else. Just that last scene and what's going on forward. You have any theories going forward? I know we talked about Ethan Hawke being in the Arthur being in the costume possibly. Flashback.
I'm wondering if
Godzilla coming back.
This 4th episode, I can see how it might slow down because Steven and Mark have nowhere to go.
Right.
They're out of ideas. Or they have an idea of where they're going, but they don't have Khonshu to lead them anymore.
Right.
So they might be a little lost. There might be some arguments with Layla, and hopefully, I'm hoping a good amount of time is dedicated in this 4th episode to meeting this 3rd personality.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's the brunt of like that episode for them.
Right.
And then the rest of it, I'm hoping is like Arthur Harrow getting to Ammit and like starting the process to release Ammit.
Right.
And then maybe who is that girl? in the scene?
Yatzil?
Yeah, Yatzil. We haven't talked about her yet.
Avatar of Hathor?
Yeah, I'm hoping Yatzil, we get more of her and she's trying to like do something on the side.
Do anything.
I just need her in the episode.
Yes, just be in the episode. But was it? Yeah, because I know you said you was thinking about going back to the first episode, and then I was trying to think maybe the third personality was the one that was like killing people in the streets and stuff like that, and killing people during the drive, the chase. But it don't make sense because neither one of them know about the third one. And I think Mark in his head too, or was it just Khonshu talking to him?
It's just Khonshu talking to him at that point.
Could have been.
There wasn't the Mark voice, and
it was not the Mark voice. Right?
It seemed like
Mark was only there later when we saw him in the mirror at home, right?
Yeah. We hadn't heard him communicate, so it could be that third personality.
On when we talked about episode 1, I was saying like I think episode 2 is going to be the flip side, the stuff that he blacked out on. We'll get to see that in part 2. Maybe part 4, maybe they'll show us something. You know,
I think
some of the scenes where he blacked out, or maybe it'll show just third personality doing his thing up until them getting to Cairo. Maybe.
So this is
goddamn three personalities. What are you doing? You don't sleep.
This is forming in my brain right now. Like this just clicked with me.
Oh, okay.
Episode 4 could be a very introspective episode because we could talk to this third personality, learn who he is,
right,
and learn. Obviously, he's the most ultraviolet one of the bunch, and so like,
hold on, go ahead.
You know, similar themes. You could have him talking about how much he loves hurting people, and Khonshu is a great way for him to get that violence out.
Oh, okay.
And loves to inflict it. And have that carry over, and while Arthur Harrow is digging for Ammit, he could start espousing his beliefs, and he could flash back to him being Moon Knight. So you could have these two ultraviolent characters who loved being Moon Knight because they could inflict so much pain. Yeah. And so, like, there could be, like, a common theme there. I don't know.
Hold on. Are you saying, like, he would start to agree with Arthur? So they got one personality in there that's...
No, I'm just saying, like...
That's what I'm thinking now. Like,
I'm just thinking there might be, like, parallels.
All right.
Like...
That'll get you to seeing...
Yeah, you have parallel themes running through both, like, groups of characters doing their thing, and you just have them talking about similar ideas of inflicting pain for justice, and
then we get to see Moonlight fucking people up.
Hopefully. Hopefully. That's what we're here for.
That's how you keep the suit in the next episode. Even though it's daytime. You just don't see it, but you see...
Make Arthur Harrow flashback.
Fucking cats up. Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Whatever they got coming for us next, I'm very excited about it.
I wonder if that other personality has a different suit.
Oh yeah. What if we got Moon Black? Moon Black. This is black and gold instead of white and gold. Gray.
I'm here for it. Give me the answers.
That might be dope because you run around in the daytime with a black suit on. That might be dope.
It could be pretty cool.
Might be dope. And then have Yatzil being as much as possible. So all right, Disney Plus had the show called Moon Knight that came out, and yeah, episode 4. Oh, no, episode 5. Oh, what was the name of episode 5? The Tomb.
Episode 4.
It's 4.
4. I'm sorry, episode 4. Sheesh, I'm trying to get to it. The Tomb.
Yeah.
The Tomb.
Which was like Temple of Doom, Tomb Raider, and the Mummy vibes all put together. Yeah. I like to call this episode the Lila Show. The Layla Show.
Took over, man.
It was her episode for sure.
On point, the whole movie or the whole episode.
Blending and
we're all a little tired today. Let's just
cool.
give a little bit of grace for
together.
That's all good.
Together. Yeah, it was like almost 12 hours on set.
Yeah, I fucking love it though.
Oh, it was great. I
love being on set.
A lot of sword fighting.
Yeah. So the Temple of Doom, Tomb Raider, Mummy episode.
Yes.
AKA the Layla episode, where she kicking all the ass. I need a wifey like that. Where you at, Yatzil? Anyway, this episode is a dope ass blend of horror and action, and just so dope. Oh my damn! We gotta talk about that damn demon in a second. But first, key character that was in the opening recap part. They showed this character called Yatzil. She was the avatar of Hathor, the goddess of music and love. And so we just gonna run down the time. Just look at me. We're gonna run down the timeline of what happened. Opening scene. Layla. Opening scene. I'm sorry. The Wall of Gods is revealed. Of what do they call them? Entrapped gods inside this wall over there. What do they go?
Ushaptis.
I believe that's how it's pronounced. Is what when you get locked up.
Stones are.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, the stone statues. Ushaptis.
That's why we pay her the big bucks.
If I pronounce it wrong, I'm so sorry, but that is how I've heard it pronounced.
Huh?
She's getting paid.
Get to my close up. So, so the wall of gods came, and then like the bull was walking all slow and scary, and but what was I gonna say about the wall of gods?
There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them,
More than you'd expect.
and that's why I like the theory of of Gore just coming. He gonna come in there and collect them things. Like, look, let me get these.
There was a little space already for Khonshu. There was a little space right in the middle. Seemed like it was waiting for him.
I don't know. Were all the other ones filled up too?
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just set
I mean,
design.
yeah, it's probably just a set design thing, but
I'm just gonna put him in there. That was a shady dude that I think let. What's his name? Or was he the one that let him in?
Yes, he
Let him in?
was.
Oh, bastard.
Yes, he was.
Ain't that plotting? Come get him, Gore. All right. Shut up. I mean, if Gore come in and smash and kill them, don't kill Yasiel. Just leave her alone. You ain't gotta be touching her. Then the credits roll or the Moon Knight thing come up, and then you find Layla and Steven in the desert. Steven's on his ass. He ain't doing nothing. What are you doing? Just stick to the maps, man. He ain't fighting. He just knocked out people coming in cars and shooting and stuff like that. Like they in the hood. And Layla jumped to the feet, moving and shaking, pulling his. Didn't she drag his body somewhere too?
yeah.
And then they roll down the hill.
In the box of bullets.
Yes, do the thing. She was a Laura Croft, boy. I was loving that part.
Love her.
Oh my goodness, I was like, I don't know, Yasiel, and I couldn't figure it out. So after that dope ass part, they get in the car, they driving. I think Steven's like trying to boo love. This man talking about all we got is the open damn road.
And then,
We on a mission. What are you thinking, Steven? And he arguing with Mark and stuff like that. He like, look, stop, don't look at it like that. Mark was getting mad at him and stuff like that.
Mark, gotta say, man of his word, that guy.
Oh, in what sense?
Oh, he
Are
was
you
like,
bringing that up now? We
Yeah,
can't.
hold on,
We're gonna go to order. Oh, go ahead. What's up?
We're doing a recap.
he was sitting there and he was
recap, it's
like,
cool.
he was like, you touch my wife,
Oh yeah,
I will throw us off of a cliff.
I was getting to that. That's the next
Man
thing.
of his word.
That's the next
Would
thing.
you do the same?
Huh?
Would you do the same if you were in a Mark situation?
If someone was like actually going for you, yeah.
But what if it was you?
Oh.
What if it was another personality of you?
This is why I got the. This is why I got the 2-shot.
That's a hard question, isn't it? You can
Another
think on
personality
it.
of yourself. You saying?
It's hard to gauge intent.
Could you trust yourself? Is that the question? Is that the real question? Do you trust yourself?
As long as there's like a mirror in the room, I can just sit there and be like, nice.
Whoa. Take it up a notch.
Shouldn't have asked you.
Shouldn't have asked.
Shouldn't have asked. Anywho, recap. Hey,
So
back to it.
So they find this station. I guess Arthur and his men were at the station,
And they
and
didn't leave anybody on freaking Firewatch? The place is just abandoned?
I think he told everybody to go in so they
Yep.
can get them traps first and just die. But
He needed all the
and
bodies.
plus,
he
I
could.
mean, he about to
They
about
left the
to bring
camels.
Ahmed back.
They did leave the camels.
That's nice of him.
They're keeping watch.
They didn't
That was
want to.
nice
They
of
didn't
them.
want to repel them all the way down.
Yeah.
Hold on. The kiss thing. So-
man.
She was like, you smell like him and stuff like that. Talking about Mark. So Mark is probably like he's probably feeling himself at the time, but he couldn't do nothing because Steven had the body. And then she goes in for the kiss. After all this talk he was doing, I guess Mark got him shook and he like, and he just started talking when she was about to kiss him. I forget what they had said after that. What they started talking about maybe he's happy he's doing this mission and stuff like that, and maybe
He's always wanted an adventure like this.
Yeah.
so he getting in his feels now, and then he goes for the kiss. I couldn't gauge it. What do y'all think? Like her face looked like, but then it was like you could read it either way. I wish I had that.
Just like,
Still, but I didn't have that still. Was it like on second thought, why you kissing me? Or y'all think it was like, oh, I've been wanting this from a good man?
I think that's the point. Is she's conflicted because it's like,
Uh-huh. Shit.
by all. I mean, it's probably really funny to like see this person that you know, and then like their physicality and the way they move is completely different. And like I'm sure Steven is not as good of a kisser as Mark.
Has
is.
Steven ever kissed a girl?
He probably
No,
never kissed
probably
nobody.
That's probably his first time
So,
ever
like-
kissing anyone.
It's probably it's just this cognitive dissonance of like she's been lonely because Mark dipped on her.
Right,
Steven's been nothing but cool. They have similar interests.
right.
And so like she is definitely like attracted to Steven, but like it's Mark she's looking at, and it's like
So that's the all.
I think it's just
you
a
read
very
on
complicated kiss altogether, like on a whole other level.
They did their damn job because I was confused. I was like, why is she looking like?
How do you
He got onion
Interesting
breath.
that you bring up that Steven brought up Mark's secret, basically, right before she kissed
yeah.
him. Because I don't think it's one or the other. Like, I think he probably was afraid of Mark because he does, Mark
kicks ass.
He kicks ass.
Yeah.
But I think what I read it as almost more at the forefront is like, does she like me because she's mad at Mark? Or does she like
when
me
he didn't
for
kiss
me
her.
When he didn't kiss her. And so for me, it was almost like Steven saying, if I tell her Mark does still love you, he's been protecting you because of this, and then she still likes Steven for Steven, I think it was almost like assuaging that last little bit of fear. Like, is she only entertaining this because she's pissed at Mark? And trying to get that like off the table almost. And that's why then he goes in for the kiss afterwards, I think.
Okay.
He trying to...
That's what I read.
I see that.
Trying to move in on her.
Yeah.
So
and then he got thrown.
So what happened to? So what was the repercussions of it?
That was absolutely Mark. And then he threw them down the hole.
He's jelly.
You think that's what happened too?
Oh yeah. He said he'd throw him off of a cliff, and goddamn if he didn't throw him off a cliff.
Oh, absolutely. He.
I just thought he was clumsy or whatever.
I didn't lethal cliff.
They didn't show that though, right?
No, they did not.
Okay, all right.
No, they did not. But we literally both looked at each other on the couch and were like, he threw them off a cliff.
I like it.
Mark did that absolutely.
Because they showed the punch and he went off camera, right? So
and then they showed, and then they showed Layla, and then he came down the hole.
That was an appetizer.
Yeah, I think he mentioned it later too. He said, "What are you gonna do? Drown us?" That's what he said.
Yeah.
You drown me next. He's like, "I might."
Yeah.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, that was absolutely Mark.
Yes.
No
doubts about it.
No doubts. Thank you.
Then I like the tomb raid when they went in there, the little puzzles. They packed. That's the fucking thing about the show. They pack so much into an episode. It don't feel rushed. It just feels like this is the flow of. This is just the fucking adventure you're on, and it's like if you were to watch it straight through, it'd be very fucking entertaining.
It's like a long Indiana Jones with superheroes.
Yes, and
they
they crushing it, man.
We were talking at home, and I was sitting there, and I was like, "What happened in episode 4? Like before we talk about it, what happened in episode 4?" And she was like, "Do you really not remember?" I was like, I remember everything that has happened, but it's all been like one big long story that I'm like, where does one episode end and one begin? I'm like, where did episode 4 start? And it was like, I remember all this stuff in the tomb and all that. I was like,
man, entertaining.
And him like finding out, like being able to gauge that it was the eye.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
figure out that all the senses are engaged in that eye.
And then that tongue, and then they gotta go that way
because
their tongue and stuff like that.
Not tongue.
Excuse me?
They did.
Oh, okay.
The way he said it was...
Yeah, he said it tongue. Like, he really, like, the end of the word. It was weird.
What, you trying to give some coded message about something?
Yeah, it was weird.
Like tongue gore?
No,
just making shit up. But, so they going... All right, look. They going through the tomb. And then they get into this room. You look on the floor. It's like somebody's in there mopping with fucking blood.
Oof, yeah.
I'm like, okay. That's a little, not jarring, but it's like, okay, is this Disney? Okay.
They are jarring organs.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Cut his mic off. No,
you can't.
And then they get in there, and then you hear gunshots. Steven's up. He up on the little upper deck thing looking around, and she's down there. Then you hear the gunshots. Like, oh, you hear that? Oh, there's gunshots. And then you hear this fucking...
the clicking.
If you don't get the fuck out of here with that shit, I was like, I'm sitting in here. I know my roommate heard me. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Leave. Run.
And this old tar mummy half face, just teeth, and I'm like, and he dragging bodies. I was like, okay, he moving funny, and then he throwing men, and then
he's doing autopsies.
Pulling
the guy still alive.
Autopsy shit. Mummifying him, I guess, is what he was prepping him for mummification. And the dude's still alive. Is that how they do it? That's how you mummify, right?
Yeah.
He's still alive.
Yep.
And then, so Layla's hiding. Steven ain't doing it. Stick to the map, Steven, anyway. If you don't get Mark in the room, and he just up there, hide, because I ain't doing shit, so hide.
Mark was trying. Steven said no.
And then she got to, of course, hide by all these loud-ass little trinkets that you can, and buckets, little pots and stuff that you can fall over. And y'all can't see the little graphic I got up, but it's the scene where she's laying there and the shots on her, and he's just like, the thing is up there doing whatever.
In soft focus, making him even creepier.
I will say, I thought it was really funny.
They did a good job there.
She was like trying to sneak and trying to move, and then she like knocked over one of the jars.
She went.
Well, I thought it was so weird that she like grabbed it and like stood it back up, and then
I'm like,
doing? Leave it, man.
Yeah, hit him like,
like it made a little noise, stop the noise,
unless
and
we
then
want to roll, but
shimmy away.
Yeah,
because like It fell over, and if it just happened to fall over, the mummy will be like, "Oh, whatever, it fell over." Back to business, and like you could be sneaking along the other side of the freaking like table.
And this old
Why did you so daintily like?
I don't know, panic response.
I just threw that shit across the room.
I just thought it was.
She used to clean up after herself.
Yeah,
I just threw that shit
she's a
across
very
the room.
tidy person.
And then Mark want no help. He made some noise. I don't know. Did he do it on purpose? I don't remember him doing it on purpose. But then the thing jumped up underneath him and was like, oh my gosh!
When he saw that he was going to see Layla.
He did it on purpose?
He did it on purpose.
Yeah.
He basically tipped the whole table, right? He tipped the whole table off.
Okay.
Yeah, he did it on purpose to draw attention.
Yeah.
But that was, that was so dope. Then I smushed it. And they went their separate ways. He ain't smushed nothing. But he ain't going to smush nothing as long as Mark got something to say about it. Smush. But anyway. No, then she goes in the hallway and she's climbing along the rock and you see through the one hole of the rock the thing. Oh, that was so dope. I was like, oh.
And they had that.
Okay, Marvel.
Such cool horror moment of her like sitting there and then gets dragged into the darkness and she comes back out.
Runs out. Pulls it back. Yeah.
And then she pops out and she's like whooping this thing's ass all of a sudden.
He got one hand. He's trying to stab with the bone in the hand. Layla is the fucking best.
She's a beast.
That's what I was saying.
I don't like scary things.
I don't either, but it was.
We were watching.
I was like, why is this in here?
I think at like noon.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It's during the day.
If we had been watching this Tuesday night at midnight, we would have had some problems.
That's like, why is that in there? Just
because I was watching it in the light of day. I mean, they said it was gonna have some horror elements. So, and did it work? Absolutely. Was it?
I thought it was
terrifying?
Dope.
Did the clicking?
Yeah. That's the part I ain't liking in his movements and what.
Moving behind the wall, all of the Yeti and the Matterhorn.
That was it was dope. I get horrified, a little scared, but I also appreciate horror stuff. Like when it's done, I like, oh, y'all getting me because this is fucking crazy.
Yep.
It was really dope.
You had freaking Arthur Harrow sitting on the side heckling her the whole time.
That scene.
Yeah.
She's talking a bunch of smack, and then he's like, "Oh, you don't know about."
That was the next thing. That was the next thing. Why y'all there snitching?
Telling all secrets.
I did
your secrets to tell.
I showed this. I did his scales. You told me to do the scales.
It was interesting. We were talking about it. And
he didn't say he killed her dad. He was like,
we were talking about it during the episode, and I was like, I bet that did they disprove it at the end?
What?
We don't know who did it, and we know Mark was there, and we're like, was Arthur Harrow there? Was Arthur Harrow the guy?
Mark does say that because there was a lot of contention about was it his third personality that killed Layla's dad, and I don't think that was it. Because
I didn't think about that.
The actual wordage.
He said I was there.
He said I was there, and he said my partner went bonkers, basically, a la Steven bonkers, mate. His partner went crazy and shot everyone, including me.
But
so I just
Bruce Banner tried to kill the Hawk. He took a bullet and then he said the Hawk spit it out.
Yeah, but I don't. I feel like Moon Knight.
That'd be interesting.
All of the writers on Moon Knight have been really, really specific with their language that I feel like they would have been more vague if they wanted to hint at the third personality.
Yeah, because why would the personality try to take out
himself?
We don't know. That's the first story I know. But why would the third personality? I ain't gonna jump ahead. I'm gonna just say it real quick. But why would the third personality be locked away?
Oh, so tightly.
Yes, he is shaking to get out there. I mean, that's later on, but he was in the mind space, I guess, whatever they call it.
I heard what someone was saying too is obviously not the way the idea works. This is Marvel. It's a comic book show, but they were saying that if they are, because in the comics I think he has 5 or 6 personalities.
Five. Yeah.
So it seems like they're really rolling with 3. And it's almost like Mark is the dominant personality. Steven has all of the good things about himself. Yeah. And then all of the leftover, the deepest, scariest, darkest parts of Mark being that third personality.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I like the theory.
I do too. I like it, man.
I don't think it was his third personality that killed Layla's dad.
I would agree. I would agree because I think Mark would have gave her a little, he probably wouldn't have worded it like that to her.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Because at that point, it's I'm trying to be real with you. Yeah. So I'm playing more games.
Also, up until recently, it seemed like Mark very much had control. Because he told Steven, we've always had, change. It seemed like Mark has been aware of all of the going-ons. And then him being basically in the dark when Steven is dominant has been a recent occurrence. So I don't know.
So I'm just thinking now, who's this other person then?
I don't know.
Who's this
So
guy that
ready to
killed her
meet him
dad?
now.
That
Want to meet him so
Yeah.
bad?
and if it is him, I mean, I don't. I guess I won't be surprised now, but I would be like, why? I'll be surprised, like, why you when you just tell her
Yeah.
the real instead of like,
People were wondering if Arthur
But-
Darrow was there and if he was still Khonshu's avatar at that time.
Oh, that would
Because
be interesting.
we don't know when he and Khonshu split.
Well, he wouldn't have been there, right?
We don't
Because
know.
I don't. Isn't that what he was telling her? He did his scales, and that's how he had that feeling. Cause
Yes.
or you think
Well-
he playing games, and like I ain't gonna tell you I was there, but
Yeah, I don't put anything past him. I don't know.
He's trying to separate, divide, and conquer.
Yeah, we don't know what he finds out, like when he reads their scales. It literally
Right.
could just say good or bad.
Yeah, does he see it, or is he just like reading a result?
Yeah, does
see
he
what
just
they
read
do
a result, or
or
does
have
he
done.
actually see memories or future
He said he did,
memories of people's
actually.
past?
In the
That he
episode.
sees?
He does. He says it.
That's what he says.
That's
I don't know
what he
what he's
says.
supposed to wear out his mouth. I don't know, but yeah, just shout out for all this is the woman in me. Layla's line when Arthur Harrow first comes up to her in that chasm
Oh yeah.
is like, why do all men like you feel the need to be so very condescending? And it was just when he's like, you handled that beautifully.
She's like, shut
That
the
little
fuck
exchange,
up.
that tit for tat was so good.
yes,
So good.
the
I
Layla
loved it.
episode. is what
It
this
was her episode,
So
man.
good.
She killed it. And then, of course, Steven not wanting to give up the body until
Pardon, I want to what?
not wanting to give up the body until
Oh, give
I
up the
want to
body,
talk
okay.
to Mark. And they start getting in a fight. Steven runs real quick.
Yeah. Other
He said, "Dip."
Oh, I was gonna say, was that after he got the what is it? How you pronounce it again? The
The
little
shopping?
statue. Yeah, was that after he got that?
Yeah, because he
it was.
'Cause while she was
comes out
fighting that
screaming
thing,
like,
he
"Oh,
was-
I found it in his gullet."
Yeah,
Like-
Layla comes in and he's like, "Woohoo! I got it.
and then she's like,
I need to speak to Mark."
"Give me Mark. Can he hear me? I got
Yeah.
something to say." Like, right.
He gave her the statue.
I don't believe we
He
saw
gave her
it.
statue.
I don't believe we saw it, but yeah, that's what I gathered is that he gave it to her and told her to run.
The fact that was Alexander the Great, I thought that was a nice little touch. I think that might have been something pulled from the comics too, though.
Yeah.
Could be.
People thought it was gonna be Ramatet, which is
Mm.
King's.
Oh,
Pharaoh
that'd have been dope.
personality.
That'd have been dope.
When people saw that tomb, they're like, if this is King as the Pharaoh,
She's
it's
gonna
gonna
be
be
crazy.
crazy. But no, I liked Alexander
dope.
the Great. I liked it.
Yeah, that was a nice little touch.
That's the very like Indiana Jones like
Mhm.
influence on the show where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you
Lost
found the
tomb.
lost tomb of
Yeah.
Alexander the Great. They thought he was buried here
Who's
Yeah.
writing this show,
the
man?
whole time.
Who's writing the show? Who's
A
writing?
lot of different writers.
Yeah, apparently.
So after that, Arthur comes in a room. Is that what you're saying? That's when he gave up gave control to Mark
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Here, Mark, get control so you can get shot.
It was as soon as
But it was a
Layla
sword to a
came in.
gunfight type of
As
moment.
soon as Layla came in, guns held. Like, because if I remember
that's what I
correctly,
was gonna
before
say, go.
Steven gave up the body, she said, "Can he hear me?" And then she immediately started calling him on his shit, like, I know you
Yeah.
were there. And Steven was like,
Excuse me. Hold on a second.
All right.
Peace. Oh, hold on.
And that's-
Mark. Oh.
In that scene, as I am in many movies, I'm 100% for. Can we talk about this later? I hate it when they shows do that and they're like, "Oh, we gonna talk about it now." So let's die.
Yeah, there are men
Is
with
that what we're
guns
doing?
coming
You're not
for
gonna
us.
be
Let's
able to
start
give
You
us
know
the-
what?
we gonna
though,
die?
I am a person.
I'd choke you out and then take you, drag you on. That's what I'd have did.
That
I'd
would
have
have
to
been
choke
great.
myself.
Yeah, that would have been great. I am a person who sometimes my emotional
She says,
irrational
"I need answers now."
thoughts do override my rational.
No,
self.
I understand. I mean, I understand that. I wish.
In a life or death situation, yeah, you probably
being-
should save it, table it, shelve it for later.
Yes, it being Layla in later episode and what we seen from her. I even when she defeated the mummy and threw it down. Oh, what the fuck is that black hole? And threw it down, and she just like I gave that yell. I was like, that's that real. That's
Yeah.
the real
Oh,
shit.
absolutely.
I'm like, I
That
love
extra
that.
adrenaline.
Decompress.
Yeah, I'm like, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
You don't just
her
talk
being
with
her,
you, guy.
that's why I would think she'd be like, yeah, we gonna talk about this later, and then like getting into that mode. But it's
Well, I mean,
something with her
It
dad
plays-
and
it plays because it's her dad, and
Yeah.
it's the only
Yeah.
person she's
And-
really talked about besides Mark that like she cares
Yeah.
about.
and so it's like the trauma of her dad, and then Mark who married. I mean that trust being betrayed. All whenever something like that comes up, like it's been all this time, that part that's so fucking important in my history is something you lied to me about for these years, the trust and bond.
Yeah,
Well,
So
he
I-
was saying that's the reason they met.
Yeah.
Whole-
Which is,
everything is
oh my
built on
gosh,
his lie.
yeah.
And at that point, Arthur Harrow had only told her that he was there.
So,
when she
okay.
comes into the tomb, she still doesn't know if Mark is the one who killed her dad.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to redeem it. Okay, you're
So-
redeeming the moment for me because
Yeah.
she's all right. She's wrapped up in
Yeah.
it, trying to unravel a lot of things
She
at
needs
once.
answers, man.
That's why I got to choke him out. Just choke him out real quick.
I mean,
Pass
would
out.
that have been the better option? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Totally could have.
Took him out, carry him out,
Yeah.
handle
Got
later.
them.
Well,
Fuck outta
actually, I
there.
don't know. She a fighter. She a fighter. So I don't know. She took that mummy out. She about whooped his ass too a little bit. Look, Mark, you ain't been in the game like that long like I've been. So, but okay. So he picked up a little Alexander the Great tool.
The
I guess he
golden
figured was going to
axe.
do something.
Axe
Well, he
is
did a little
not-
something with
He
it,
did.
but so he took one of them out with him. But then
not enough.
not enough of these bullets, these Arthur bullets. But dang, so man gets shot. I keep going that Thor. My bad. Keep going back Thor. 2 times, right?
Twice. Yeah.
Mid
One
torso.
could say one for Mark and one for Steven.
Yeah, pat bang.
Oh,
That's what I
In the
read.
chest.
shit.
Yeah.
As you read, you say?
That's how I read it.
Oh, you're right. Okay, I was like, what did you
yeah.
get the inside
No,
scoop?
that's not what I read. No, that's how I read it.
Gotcha.
The
No,
significance of 2.
then he falls back in slow motion. Then he falls down into
That shot was
Lake Minnetonka into the upside down. He falls down to the upside down multiverse madness,
possibly the Field of Reeds.
aka the hill. Who
Field of Reeds.
is that?
To the
It's
afterlife.
the passage is like the underworld, the passage into the afterlife. What they talked about in episode 1 when Stephen was talking with the little girl,
Field
of
and she said, "Well, did it
Oh, yeah,
hurt
yeah,
you when
yeah.
you didn't get accepted?" And he's like, "Well, I'm not dead, am I?"
Look at y'all.
And so
Get the
yeah,
call
a lot of
back.
people are wondering if that is what he passed
See,
through.
that's why you have a communal thing here, because I don't pay attention to every damn thing. I don't pay attention to all this stuff like that.
Oh,
I don't. The little girl said something. I was like, "Could you keep moving?" No, that's fine. I do remember the little stuffed animal
Hippo.
hippos that we're gonna touch
Yeah.
on in a second.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
But is it
It's
called-
so much more
yeah.
before that.
Is it called the mind space, or did they say something about mind space, or did I just read that online?
I think you maybe read that online.
Yeah, they
Okay.
haven't addressed it.
I don't think
Alright.
they. Yeah, I don't think
On
they
the
give
show.
you any information about where he's at.
I'm saying we, like, you know, like it's all of us, but we like it's the 3 of us here. We looking at it as not being real, right?
Yeah, I don't.
This
think
is
so.
his mind, you
Yes.
believe, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
Because if that was what we got after these episodes and it was just
is
all
that he's
fake,
actually just hallucinating everything?
yeah, we're
No,
gonna
I
have
think
to
that'd be a cop-out.
storm Marvel Studios. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing there?
Yes.
I love that. Well, first he woke up watching the movie in the in a VCR,
Yeah.
watching the VHS tape.
I'm a man.
Some of y'all out there don't
Brent.
even know what a VHS tape is or a VCR.
Oof.
But yeah, those are things. That's how we used to watch movies, unfortunately.
Rewind them every time.
You'd
then
have
it
the
was-
little separate rewinder that you would just
You know what I do
put it
miss?
in.
I miss slow motion button. I don't have a slow motion button on YouTube, but like on streaming services, I don't remember having. My remote doesn't have a slow motion button.
Interesting.
But I do. I miss that slow motion button.
Yeah.
When you watch Cinemax, and so I love that you got to see Steve and Mark together. I love that.
That was
so
so
dope.
good.
I like that a lot. I like seeing Layla in a different light, looking crazy as ever.
So it was like
So many Easter eggs.
This is
Easter eggs galore.
Right, we can break
Yeah.
it down. Go ahead.
I tried to say something
yeah.
earlier.
Right,
and
what's
Nate
up?
was like, "Stop!
Oh yeah, that's
What is
right.
it? Which one?
Say it to me during the podcast."
Oh, okay.
'cause,
What's up?
You're gonna say the thing, and I'm gonna be like, "Wow, oh, I didn't know that."
All right, what's up?
Like, he's gonna be like,
You gotta
"Oh,
close up now."
stupid." But
I just wanted to be surprised when you told me.
there were a bunch of
authentically.
things that were like callbacks to everything in the episodes that like he's been experiencing so
Yep.
far. But the one I didn't actually catch during the episode, and I had to see it later,
Mm.
was Arthur Harrow's office as like his psychiatrist
Right.
is the warehouse room that they get chased in by the jackal.
Jacko.
So they like
Oh,
invade
the
Arthur Harrow's like compound.
oh,
Him and Layla get stuck in that room, and then she's like trying to talk him into like becoming Moon Knight. You can do this, and he's like,
some
"Come
of
on."
the
She's like,
some of the
"All right, we're gonna figure something else out." And then he goes flying out the
Yeah.
window and becomes Mr. Knight.
right.
His office looks exactly like that room, the same dimensions,
Yeah,
the
I
same
didn't
windows
catch
in the
that.
back. I didn't notice it,
Ah.
but somebody put them side by side, and it was like, "Oh
Here-
my god, another one, man!"
Set design. They just ran out of money.
Numerous.
No,
And
There
like-
were so
That's
many
And like his
callbacks.
the
Run
boss.
through them. There were so many.
The boss that was super mean to him at the beginning was making fun of him. She's on one of the couches with the scarab doll. The guy's working on the Rubik's Cube, the orderly who's talking to him, he's the guy on the table getting autopsied.
Yeah.
The guy who's got the bingo balls calling him out. He's the
The
golden
living
man.
statue. He's Crawley.
Oh, that's
He's
okay.
that guy.
I ain't any people without the gold on. That's why I just keep wondering
Then
where that
there's a
dude was
guy
going.
solving a Rubik's Cube, just like
The
Steven does.
orderlies
Or
are
the
the
cops.
cops.
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
come
I
to the
remember.
door.
I peeped
The
that.
shackles on the wheelchair, the shackles on the
Shady ass
bed.
Yeah, it's
The
all
cupcakes, Gus.
cupcakes. Yes, all of it, man.
There were so
Cupcakes.
many.
Oh, it was a
So
cupcake.
many.
It was when
At
he's
the very
driving the
first-
van.
yeah, the
the
Oh,
cupcake
okay.
van
van.
that he steals.
Oh,
And then
right.
they give them the cupcakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It was.
I like how they set it up as if it could be.
Yeah, so,
Real,
like,
but-
we
Yeah.
were wondering the whole like kind of for
one
5-10
of the
minutes.
ones
You're like,
too.
ooh, Grant, that where he got the name?
This is a weird
Yeah.
little segue, but I guess it's not. It's not weird. It has to do with it. But
Mhm.
as we know, I'm all over the Reddits and all over the internets, and I listen to other podcasts, and I'm all about the Easter eggs.
That's why Joe hired her.
Exactly. Yeah, right. So in the comics, I guess there's a character called the Scarlet Scarab
All right.
who has similar powers to Moon Knight. I should have done more research. I don't exactly know what her power set is,
Okay.
but she is Mark's wife in the comics, who is not Layla. Mark has a different white wife in the comics, which they changed for the MCU to be an Egyptian woman, and I love that. But in the mental hospital, when Layla goes, like, after the bingo card, and she's, like, sitting somewhere, or right before, I don't know the exact order of operations, she has, on the little, like, Band-Aid on her finger, a picture of a scarlet red scarab.
Oh.
And so, as we know, everyone loves Layla, and they love May Calloway, and they
Give
love
her a
her.
suit, man.
That
Yeah.
they think she's gonna, at some point, who knows, become the Scarlet Scarab. Yeah. And work in tandem with
I
Moon
would
Knight.
love to have her.
He's like, that would put her up on the list between her and
Did
what's her name?
No.
Did you see my
Aaron Yatsil?
You're not silly.
No.
No? Still not
my thing that I posted on Facebook?
What's that?
The no context spoiler.
Oh no, yeah, no, I still didn't see. I mean, you told me about it. What was it?
Yeah, so 2 years ago, or I think it was 2 years ago. It's when they were still like, Dune was still like pretty far out.
Mm.
It hadn't come out yet, and Oscar Isaac was on some late night show, and he's talking about this lullaby that he sings to his kids on the guitar, and it's about hippopotamuses.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's just
Really
like
funny.
somebody was just like, "What are the odds, man?
Yes.
Yeah.
What are the odds?" Because the freaking
Yeah.
end of the free episode. What's the Egyptian god's name?
What
I don't remember.
is it? Let me
Yeah.
see. I got a graphic up here.
Did you also see Peep the with the mirrors in this show? I mean, are just outstanding.
Something was in the mirrors?
When you see Arthur Harrow's sandals from under the desk in the mirror in the psychiatrist's office,
Yeah, there's sandals there.
he sees his sandals full of glass.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
that was
that's what I remember
brilliant.
that.
Like, oh,
And you see the goldfish in the psychiatrist's office too. Yeah,
Let me see. What is it? What
it's
is it?
crazy.
I'm
man.
so curious when we're gonna meet the third personality.
Tawa
the
Ret.
next
That was
episode.
called.
I think you're right.
Tawa Ret is the Egyptian goddess of
Tawa.
fertility and childbirth.
Yeah, she's
The
like,
appearance of
"Hi."
a hippo, but the arms of a lion and a tail and legs of a crocodile. Damn. Tawa Ret.
Alright.
I know
she's
people
like a
Googled the
protector
heck out of that.
sorts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready to see more of her though. I'm so ready
What is
for
it?
Mark and
Fertility
Steven
and
misadventures in their
Do we
own
want to
mind.
do theory?
What is fertility and childbirth? Look, what's that got to do with anything?
Well,
I
she's
think?
like a protector. That's what I heard. Is she's like overall like
Like a
a
motherly-
motherly protector.
Very maternal figure.
But
Alright.
so
So
I have a theory. It's
Alright.
not my theory.
for coming up in
Yeah.
the show. Well, hold on before we get to that.
Okay.
That's because we do the theories at the. But,
yeah, we do. You're right. Nope, you're right.
Of course, when they're going through the hallways, the other thing I'm just curious because
Yes.
we touched on it a little bit earlier. I was just wondering what y'all think about that reddish tomb that was standing up and shaking.
Oh,
'Cause, who jumped out of the tomb? Steven? Did Mark find Steven in the tomb?
Mark found Steven.
And he got out. Then like they had that one room where did he close it? Just close the door on it or something
No,
and keep
they
it
just
They
moving?
just ran
Past
past
it.
it. They
They
saw
just
it. It was
ran past
screaming
it.
and shaking. They're like, no.
And are we theorizing from that scene that that's the third
Oh,
personality?
definitely,
Absolutely.
for sure. Yeah.
100%.
Do y'all think it's going to be aggressive? Because we saw the
Absolutely.
scene.
For sure, he is the most violent of all of those themes.
It seems.
Some people were even saying too, like when some of the more violent things happened, like in Switzerland, if maybe it wasn't Mark taking over, but if it was a third personality, when like Steven ports back and everyone is like
before he dropped the kid off.
Yeah, because that's when you only hear Khonshu's voice, you don't hear Mark's voice. Yeah. So Khonshu might know about this third ultra violent personality, but
we don't know.
Mark might not know about him yet.
So brings me back to the thing about him being there when the dad died, though. And shooting it, I don't know. That was the last thing. Well, the hippo was the last thing where we talked about.
Yeah, because they ran past the sarcophagus
and
then opened the door and both screamed.
Yeah.
Amazing. It was an amazing shot. Just brilliant.
So you had theories moving forward.
Yes.
I'm interested. Let's see.
All right.
So, because a lot of people in the comics run that they're basing it off of, Mark is in the mental hospital and like certain things are a figment of his mind. I don't subscribe to that theory. I think everything we've seen thus far has been the real world. Yeah. And now falling through whatever this Fields of Reeds is people wondering, like, you know, if he's worthy, if he's not. One theory is that because now they have found the Ushabti and they're so close to Amit, Arthur Harrow is there. If somehow, we don't know what their power sets are, somehow Amit and Harrow are trapping him here.
Amit and Harrow.
Because so many of between the orderlies shackling to the wheelchair, Harrow trying to convince him, like, I feel like if it were Mark's own head, there wouldn't be so many things trying to convince him to calm down, to be sedated, to, you know what I mean, to not find the sarcophagus in the other rooms, and that maybe we already forgot her name, the hippo goddess.
Yatsil. Oh, the hippo goddess. Oh,
that's
Tawaret.
Were you talking about Tawaret?
Tawap. T-A-W-R. That's
Tawaret.
That's how you pronounce it.
So they're saying that maybe she is also one of the Ushabtis on the wall with Khonshu. We think the gods can hear in their Ushabti form because Arthur Harrow was talking to Khonshu, right? And if there's, this is such a wild theory, but if there's some way that Khonshu spoke to another god in a Ushabti next to him and said, can you
lead him to me?
Can you help get him out? Can you lead him to me?
Because I think when you're in that state, they can talk to you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because Arthur
purgatory type
Harrow was talking to him.
Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it could be.
There.
And you think that was really? You think that was the authentic author, like by way of Amit?
I mean, I don't know the semantics of that theory. However, I guess I subscribe more to the latter half of it, of the Khonshu trying to help get him out of whatever space he's in. It's either he's trapped there by Amit and Harrow, or this really is like a Field of Reeds situation where he is being judged.
Seems like it'd be the perfect place to be Mark Spector's like own personal hell.
Yeah.
Like, it's a place where he feels crazy.
Yeah.
And, like, if you wanted to punish Mark Spector, like, make him feel crazy and powerless.
But
and,
if it was just, like...
shackle him next to freaking Steven.
If it was just a Field of Reeds situation, if it was just, like, a generic, like, no stakes in the game underworld, why would Arthur Harrow be the psychiatrist?
Yeah.
You know, that felt very pointed. They had a long scene there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, perhaps it is personalized. Like,
maybe.
They find everything you hate and don't like in life, and they, like, make it as bad as possible. Like, okay, this guy that I hate who freaking killed me, I think is psychotic, is now my, like, guidance.
Who's they?
Because Arthur Harrow is pretending to be, or he appears to be his psychiatrist, trying to help him through his psychosis. And
because
no.
Have the limitations, these gods or whoever in there.
Yeah, we don't know what
their
powers are.
Well, and Amit, the weighing of the scales, weighing your heart against the scales, happens while they're going through the Field of Reeds. Like, Amit is directly connected to, like, the passing from life to either heaven or hell, like, passing through the underworld. So it's just interesting that he seems to be, like, now in a sort of purgatory, and Amit is, like, so closely related to that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And now Hippo God is
Khonshu's
homie. Is Khonshu's homie? I think she's Khonshu's
maybe.
homie. I mean, with her, goddess of fertility and childbirth, she got to be like a mama.
Yeah.
She's like, what y'all doing in here?
But we gotta get Khonshu back. Like, we've had him completely gone for one episode. I don't see them having...
Moonknight wasn't in
I don't see them not having their suit or Khonshu or anything for more than one full episode. That's already pretty ballsy on its own.
What's going to happen next time? Sheesh.
Episode 5 is going to be insane.
We getting down to the... I mean, episode 6 going to have a wrap it up and a little epilogue and maybe a stinger. So what's episode 5 going to do?
5 is going to be wild.
Yeah. Do y'all think Amit will be the big bad, one of the big bads in MCU, or I think this is going to be Amit's story? And
I think this is going to be.
I think this might be one of those situations where like
take her out.
The main villain, like it's all the way up to the point where they like the big looming threat of Amit. Maybe like Arthur Harrow succeeds, Amit shows up, they find a way to reverse it, and Amit like is done. Like a little bit of like
not even coming out.
A little bit of like a Dormammu situation. Like, what's the villain's name in the first Strange movie? What's the character?
Ooh, Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen's character.
That's all we need.
But yeah, like
Mads
he's the villain the whole movie, and then we get a little Dormammu at the end. You outsmart him, and you're done with him.
Right.
But like, I think it might be a little bit of that. Like Arthur Harrow is the bad guy. And then you get to Amit, you deal with Amit, and then you deal with like somehow summoning Amit deals with Arthur Harrow.
Gotcha.
You deal with Amit, and then you're good.
I kind of hope Arthur Harrow perishes.
I hope he dies too.
In whatever.
I like this.
Summoning Amit.
I like to see that. I mean, it ain't like my man is gonna be signing multiple contracts yet, because it took him a minute just to even get on this one.
Well, that was I think we talked about it a while ago, but that was part of why what's Ethan Hawke?
Yeah.
That's why Ethan Hawke and Oscar Isaac said together that like why they liked this idea.
Oh, because
and then why they wanted it because it was so disconnected. Like it was self-contained. Right. They didn't have to deal with being Avengers. It was just like we're just gonna tell this really cool, interesting story. Mm-hmm. And that was why they were like, yeah, we'll do something Marvel, sure.
Y'all think? I believe so, but do y'all think episode 5 is going to have the third personality?
Yeah. God, I hope so.
Revealed.
I wanted this episode.
People thought it was episode 3. People thought it was episode 4. So
it gave us a taste. So
I think we have to get it next episode.
My man is trying to come out and kill everything.
Yes.
Let me out.
He's ready to go.
Also, what do y'all think at the bottom of that damn hole that Layla threw the flare down? I'm just joking. That's a joke question. I do want to know what's at the bottom of the damn hole. Another like 20 of them damn mummies coming up there.
Yeah, I hope not. You just picture like looking over the cliff and.
Oh my god! Oh, that actually would be dope. Oh. Then they'd be like third personality, summon the suit, and then it'd be a red moon red because
that would be awful.
Yeah, that'd be gross.
I would hate that.
Gross and weird.
Yeah, I think we have to see him next episode. I don't think they would withhold him until episode 6 because, like you said, episode 6 is gonna have to be a lot of wrapping up.
Yeah, wrap it up.
So I don't think they'd save him for that.
Episode 6, 2 hours long.
I definitely see.
I'd be here for it. I'd watch
it. We were talking about it.
Damn right.
We were talking about it last week. How a lot of the criticisms from like the influencers and stuff that got to see episodes 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were saying like, oh, it really slows down episode 3 and 4, and I was like. 3, I disagree completely. Episode 4, I will say it did slow down a bit. Like it's
where
it's just like there's a lot of like there's a lot more.
The shootout at the beginning, or
no? I'm just saying there's a lot more like
puzzle?
Interpersonal. Like there's more relationship stuff going on in this one. Like there's a lot of dealing with like Steven and Mark and Layla, what their relationship looks like. There's a lot of talking inside the tomb and like puzzle solving. There's not as much like. Straight up action.
That's slow? So you don't really are.
For certain people, it's not slow.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, not for me. You didn't like just move the story along.
It wasn't as much action and mystery in this one. It was a little more like because the other ones was really kept you on the hook. Besides some of the action scenes, has been like, oh, we gotta figure this thing out. It was like, oh my god, wait, who is that? What are they gonna do? How are they gonna get out of this? Whereas this one, they were kind of like, there was the threat that like Arthur Harrow's men are in the tomb, but. It definitely there was a lot more talking and there was a lot more like.
So you like the story didn't progress?
Around. Yeah,
you know what you mean?
It felt like they were pumping the brakes on the story. Like we didn't get any the only significant change to the story we really got was at the very end. Like we got a little bit of information about the assassination of Layla's father.
Yeah,
but other than that, it was kind of just putting around in a tomb doing tomb stuff.
For me. I see it. But I totally hear what you're saying. I don't call it
putting, but I got you.
I don't think it's so much. The way I read it when I was watching it is not so much of pumping the brakes as like taking a deep breath before jumping off the cliff.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think
'Cause
you do agree with that, but you're just trying to play devil's advocate for other people.
Well,
It's
I get what they mean.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
You
out
get
of
what I mean.
all the episodes, I'd say this one, I definitely found myself a little bit like, what are we doing?
Oh, I
Let's
did
go.
not.
Not me either,
Not
no.
me.
But I just, because of what you
Yeah.
said, like when you watch John Wick 1, he's fucking people up.
Yeah.
You gotta give us a break, John Wick. You watch John Wick 3, I could not come up for air. I'm like, oh, he fighting again. God damn. Hold on,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
Let me
So,
just breathe.
what
You
are we
just
doing now?
kept
Yeah.
going in that
Yeah.
movie. So it's like, this is that episode for them because I guess they played it. I mean, when they created as one solid story.
Yeah.
So you had to
Yeah.
get those. This was a hell of a fucking slow episode. If it's like, if
and
that's it,
that's
that's a
the
hell of a
kind of
slow
thing you
episode.
run into when it was like when they were talking about they want to like rank all the Disney Plus like Marvel series. Is it like even the one at like the bottom of the list? You're like, well, that one's still pretty good, but like the other ones are so much better. Like the other episodes are so good.
Oh,
This one's not
episodes?
a bad episode. It's just
This one was
This is
one
one
of
of
my
my
If I had to
favorites.
rank-
Yeah,
This
man.
was one of
if
my
I had to
episode?
rank them, I'd have to probably put this one at the bottom. But like,
Really?
yeah, I like the other ones better.
I don't know. Like
But,
episode
yeah.
2 or something might be the bottom.
I probably, let's see, I probably liked episode 1 at the top still, then episode 4, then episode 2, then episode 3.
I was saying episode 2 might be at the bottom for me. What's episode 3?
2 and 3 are kind of
3 is when they
very
got to Egypt.
interchangeable. Yeah, 3 was the episode 2 ended with Mark looking out over the pyramids, and it was the whole chase scene, him punching the dudes.
Yeah, I think episode 3 would be
the
my.
fight scene.
If I had to do it, it'd be episode 3 at the bottom.
Going and finding
Really?
the other tomb and the
Like, I don't
star
care about
map.
this chain of stars and having a
Yeah.
little caucus in the court. I don't care about that.
That's
Only
like world
Yat
building
Sil was the only
stuff.
thing
That
that I
was the
like.
interesting
Yeah,
part
yeah,
to
I
me.
know. Yeah, I mean, I understand
And
that.
let's
Yeah,
be
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
I've
That's good.
loved
But
all 4 episodes.
Oh yes.
I want to be
But yeah, if
entertained
you have
in
to rank
various
them.
ways.
Yeah.
Episode 4 gave me all of it. Shootout at the beginning, gave me a little horror story, gave me a little love action. Got a man sitting there trying to deceive people. Somebody got shot. Some crazy upside down weird
4
stuff.
might
It just
be-
gave me a whole bunch.
You're convincing me. 4 might be above 1 for me. I don't know. But I think 5 is going to be at the top of everyone's,
But-
to be quite
I hope
honest.
so.
Number 2
I hope.
was. Hold on, number 2 was when they had the rich dude house, right? Oh, that was number 3.
No, 2 was like all the sitting and talking with Arthur Harrow, him getting Layla coming
Oh,
on
he
the
fought
motorbike.
yeah,
he
him
fought
being
the
in
jackal,
when he fought the
turning into
jackal.
Mr.
Oh,
Knight.
see, I don't know. Episode 3 was
Mr.
good too
Knight,
because of that
yeah.
fight, man. Because Moon Knight was kicking
Yes.
ass. boy.
I will say,
Yeah.
episode 3,
But-
that fight with the jousting.
And then freaking
Yeah.
Layla coming in clutch
So
with the
good.
necklace now.
Oh, the
No.
negative thing.
So cool.
But I still must say, I think I enjoyed. That's crazy that Moon Knight wasn't in the episode that I find the best. That's my favorite episode so
Yeah.
far. Moon Knight episode 5 title is Asylum, like Insane Asylum,
Yeah,
maybe.
definitely.
This one was heartbreaking. It was it was very interesting. It gave me a sense as far as in the show as well. You can see there was a level of survivor's guilt people had. I had some survivor's guilt when I lost my brother. So it hit me in the feels with that.
Mm-hmm.
And it opened with the words, "This is all your fault." And within, then later on there were some words that it wasn't your fault. And the people that spoke those words, whew, I was fully engaged. And
That was a tough one to go through,
yeah.
man.
Yat Sil wasn't in it again. So, so opening with "This is all your fault," and got Arthur was breaking down some psychological stuff about it was called organizational principle
Yeah,
for
going
safety.
What is it? Your mind is switching from sense to nonsense,
Yes.
back and forth.
And
And
trying
so,
to keep you safe.
so here's my
your
thing
brain
about
safe.
that scene.
Was
You've got the busted nose,
mm-hmm.
right? And that's
Steven's busted nose?
yeah, but I don't think so. Here's my thing.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think that was Steven or Mark, because like
I mean,
Mark has an American
so.
accent, like a general.
He's
an American guy.
Yes.
Steven is British.
Yes.
And when he says, "I'm your doctor, I'm trying to help," he gives him a look and he says, "You're my doctor? You're not my doctor." It's a specifically like Brooklyn,
Got him up on the screen
New
here.
York kind of accent. And then we know that he's the most hyper-violent out of all of them.
Right.
And he does not hesitate. He grabs that, like, glass pyramid. He's like, no, that's all right. I'm gonna be fine. Yeah. I think he may... I think maybe Jake Lockley doesn't like to, like, show himself very often.
Jake Lockley is...
the third personality.
Know. Yeah, from the comic books. It hasn't been mentioned in the show yet. So those of you may not know. Yeah,
so Jake Lockley, third personality, is typically, like, cabbie driver. He gets, like, information. But... It seems through the show that he's the most violent, and he kind of enjoys it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like to make appearances in front of people, it would seem, because we haven't seen him yet.
Yeah.
So the first 2 lines he has is, "You're not a doctor, you're not a doctor." And he specifically leaves that last vowel open, I think, giving him that accent, cabbie driver.
I didn't peep that.
Cabbie driver type accent. And then he stands up. And he goes, "No, actually, I'm feeling way better. I'm just great. I'm just gonna go over here." And like, I think he tried to cover up his accent
to sound like Steven.
Yeah, like, "Oh no, just kidding. I'm Mark. Like, this isn't a different personality. I'm just Mark."
Yeah, I noticed, and you can kind of see it here, but I don't know. I'm an eye guy. I don't know if you noticed
face
his
is
pupils.
Man.
Yeah, his eyes and pupils
they were
a little darker and maybe bigger, but I know they were darker. And I was like, "What the." How did I'm thinking to myself, how did Oscar Isaac make himself look like this? I was like, he don't look like either of the other two, but it didn't like, touch my mental like that. I was like, oh, well, all right, I guess it's a Mark or whatever. But like, why he look so dark? Like his pupils are black.
Yeah,
black. I don't know if y'all go back and watch it. Like
it could be like a lighting thing, but like.
But it's different from. It is different.
It is different. He's got a different like facial kind of like resting face.
Yeah.
And I remember we were watching
That's interesting. I ain't peeped the accent though. So y'all got that. You and Mariah got the accents.
Instantly, he goes, "You're not my doctor." And I was like, "Did you just say
that?
What?" I was like, Mark would have said doctor. Like, he's stressed out and everything, but he's going to hit the R.
Yeah.
And just, all of it. And I remember I had the thought. I wasn't sure, so I didn't, like, say anything.
Mm.
And then later on, me and Mariah were, like, watching some videos and, like, listening to another podcast. And they were like, "I think Jake Lockley just made an appearance." And I'm like, that's exactly what I was thinking. Exactly.
You didn't say nothing to her?
No. And it was one of those, like, she knew I wasn't lying because of how strong my reaction was.
Yeah.
I think you saw Jake Lockley. Yes! I was thinking the same thing.
Yes. Man, I was going to say, damn it. Oh, you said something that made me think about something else. Forget about it. But if it is Jake, I mean, jumping all the way to the end, but if it is Jake, I wonder if he helped balance the scales when we lost Steven.
It could be.
Maybe Steven had to go, or maybe... Well, never mind. Nah. Because I was going to say maybe that was Jake that got tossed over. He was still acting like Steven. But that's definitely
I did have the same kind of thought. Like, okay, if that was Jake... and
then we never even got to see him and shit. So
if we do have this third personality, like, what does he have to do with the scales being balanced? How does that all shake out? But I think if they're setting up what I think they are, and so far I've been like pretty much wrong every time, but like it does story wise make a lot of sense. Like if you get rid of Steven, now you can still have the same 2-on-2 energy if you're gonna bring Jake in.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like, because I do get it, like filmmaking standpoint, like script writing, that would be really tough to have Steven, Mark, and Jake. Mm-hmm. All like having to interact together, and like Oscar Isaac just gonna like his head's gonna explode.
What's it called? Did they do that for what is Professor X's son's name? Legion.
Oh yeah, Legion.
Didn't they do a Legion? Doesn't he have like several personalities on that show?
Yes, he does.
But I mean, I know this is something different, and I don't know if they're doing anything beyond this.
But that I think the problem is in Legion. The point is, like, the whole plot is based around him having multiple personalities, and they're all so telekinetically strong.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, like, that is the conflict of it's all of them against each other. Whereas there's the whole conflict with Ahmet and Arthur Harrow and all that stuff. So, like, having 3 people trying to, like, jibber-jabber between each other while still, like, getting plot stuff done would be really just taxing and, like, be hard to get it right. So I think you get rid of Steven,
So
now Jake Lockley can kind of step in, and we can have some conversations between them two.
That's crazy that, cause if that happens, then it's like Mark takes Steven's seat to Jake's Markness. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he's more the aggressor or something like that. And now Mark like, oh, my whole.
Yeah.
Because maybe he learned some stuff from Steven.
And there were some interesting theories going around about what Jake has been doing. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, like somebody has to be getting Steven to work. Somebody has to like, because like there's times where he's snapped out of it and he's on his way, like he's on the bus going to work.
Yeah.
That's not Mark.
Yeah.
So it has to be Jake. So is Jake.
Because they didn't show. Yeah, they didn't show us.
And then like, did he ask out that girl to help Steven? To be like, hey man, look, Steven, you don't know what's going on. I'm gonna ask this girl out for you. I'm gonna ask her on a date to help you out. Or was it a sick joke because Jake Lockley's like that? Is it like this guy's he's vegan? I'm gonna ask this girl out. We're gonna go to a steak restaurant, and I'm gonna see what poor little Steven does.
Could Steven? You saying like could Steven have made up Jake?
I don't. I think they all stem from Mark.
Okay,
but
have even deeper level. Sheesh.
But yeah, I think it all stems from Mark. But yeah, I'm very. They were wondering like, is Jake trying to screw with Steven or is he like helping Steven?
Like,
is
I
he
can't wait to watch it again.
Antagonistic.
So I can look for all that again. Now I want to look for that accent throughout, and the darkness in the eyes and stuff like that.
I kind of looked at some other clips. And there's never been like a Brooklyn slip.
Oh, throughout the other episodes and stuff?
Yeah, I was looking at some scenes that I was like, he could have popped up here, and I kind of watched the scene. I was like, nah, there's nothing.
God, we ain't at the end of it yet, but like, there's leaves so many questions for how they're gonna wrap this thing up. It's gonna be a 2-hour episode. Like every
fucking 2-hour episode.
No, I say it's gonna be one.
Oh God,
but like every episode, I've kept saying they pack so much into it without overstuffing it or making it seem right. They do such a fucking good job of like the pacing and everything and like information they give you and stuff.
And to be clear, I am praying for a scene where we get Steven, Mark, and Jake all talking together at once.
Oh yeah,
I just know from like
I thought it was going to happen in this
from a filmmaker
like
standpoint that shit's going to be difficult, but like I would love to see the three of them arguing.
I thought we was getting it because last episode with the red
with the shaking sarcophagus.
I
was ready. Instead, we got just
more tower
emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, just trauma after trauma. And there was one thing I noticed that was it jumped out to me more. A friend of mine was doing, so Mark is Jewish in this canon. And so the kippah, the thing they wear on their head,
right?
It is. So I did a like Hanukkah performance with a friend of mine, and so I learned a lot about the Jewish faith and things like that. Right. And that is not supposed to touch the floor. Like, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And like there's a whole thing you're supposed to do if it does. Like you have to like kiss it and put it back and like say a thing. And so it was like he like took it off and threw it on the ground and I was like, oh no. And I was like, what? I'm like, that's a big deal. Yeah. Like especially like if it randomly falls off, like that's whatever. Like shit happens. But like if you intentionally like crumple it and throw it on the floor, that's a whole
that's a direct disrespect too.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, it's jumping around too. I'm not trying to go like in chronological order this time, but him at his mom, like at the Shiva. That's when she said, it was all your fault, or this is all your fault. Yeah. So before we get to there though, the hippo or the Tawarat, that has them in the afterlife and on the boat. And Mark said the words "kill the hippo, steal the boat" were uttered.
Yep.
Kill the hippo, steal the boat.
Yep, they're just hanging over this. So I'm thinking.
He plotting in the afterlife.
No, you can't do that. What's wrong?
So then they go to as they're on the boat, they gotta balance the scales and stuff like that, and they're going in back into the asylum and going through the rooms, and they get in that one room where everybody he's killed is in there. I didn't see or hear mention of Layla's dad being in that room, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Even in the flashback of, when they were on the scene. Well, we saw Layla's dad laying there, but
Yeah, because I think most of those people, the way he referred to them in the room, and then later in the episode, it seemed like those were people he's killed as Moon Knight.
for Conchu.
Yeah.
And then the young boy was in there, and he's like, "Why is the little boy in there? He's like, in a room full of people you killed."
Right.
He follows him down there, and you end up finding out it's his little brother,
It's the baby
Roro.
brother, man. That hurts so bad.
Yeah, we see how they died. How his little brother died because he went to a cave. It was raining and wasn't supposed to be in there. His mom blames him, and she going through her shit. So I guess this episode, during this episode, you're finding out Steven's origin story, and it seems Mark's trying to prevent him from learning it or learning the truth. And I'm like, why would you want to?
Well,
I don't know what's going on in his mind, but
the whole thing is he created Steven to like protect himself from like just keep it at arm's length.
Yeah,
and like
he did not want no parts of that. None of it.
We have seen Mark be so composed in such stressful situations.
Yes.
And to be like hammering on his own face and like freaking out, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna go back in there. I can't see that again. Like that tells you everything you need to know. Like that messed him up.
He was like, just the one scene we left in the window. He like, what was that? I don't remember that. He like, no, just stand on the streets. Stand on the streets all the time.
I always stand on the streets.
That man did not want no parts of that.
No. And I don't blame him, man. That's some heavy stuff. Like being, like Steven said, I totally agree with him. You're a kid.
Yes.
How would you have known any better? Like you were a child.
I mean, I never thankfully didn't have to go through any of that. Like, as far as my brother passing, but I did feel the like I said, survivor's guilt type of thing, and I don't know if he did as a young man, if he felt that, but I don't know if that's what parents go through. I've never had children, never lost children, and my heart to those who have, but parents, I know that parents don't want to outlive their kids and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and have her, and like you said, he's a kid and like going through that, and then he don't know what his mom going through. He just know like, oh, now my mom hates me. He lost his brother too. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
so
like Dad's trying. Dad's actually
Pop was really he was trying, man. But I guess his connection with his mom, like it wasn't like fully shown in that, but like his connection with his mom, I'm sure it means your mom.
Yeah.
And she's banging on the door to get him and stuff when you first see him turn Steven on, and he realizes from the poster from the show that they watched, and I was like, oh my gosh, man. To see the young boy through the eyes that like we see Mark do and turning and Steven do. Yeah, like, all right, he's went into his own little world. I was like, oh my goodness. I've seen movies like this, man. I saw Precious.
Oh, yeah.
So, but like, just trying to escape that. But then, at some point, Mark couldn't save him anymore. He went and saw his mom at the funeral, and he saw that he was who he was. The other big moment for me was when he was talking to Dr. What's his name? Harrow. I guess it was Arthur, but Dr. Harrow. He was like, he told him his mom, he like, we mom is dead or whatever. And he's like, she's not dead. What you talking about? And then he's like, oh, let's give her a call. That scene, I was like, no, don't call her.
Answer the phone. Hey, she's on the phone. And he's like,
oh my goodness.
No.
That took me back to the first episode. When y'all was like, yeah, his mom not. It didn't even hit me that he was probably talking to a recorder back when we first talking about the first episode. I was just like taking it in.
That was another one of those things I read with Jake Lockley is that he gets in the first episode he gets postcards from his mom, and you can see those exact same postcards as he's walking out of the museum. Like there's a little like
shit,
the exact same postcards.
That's crazy.
So like,
see, I didn't peep that either.
Yeah, and like how much is Jake Lockley stringing people along?
Like, you think he fucking with him or he's just trying?
We don't know yet.
Maybe he's keeping him safe too.
Could be.
I don't know. Because maybe Jake showed up when they on a boat. Remember when he's like beating the crap out of that thing with a bat? But I guess if it's in your head, then it wouldn't be like
he would have to,
it wouldn't operate the same way.
Manifest.
Right.
But I loved I love the physical acting that Oscar Isaac's doing because when he was fighting as
most definitely
as Mark, so controlled, so like
of course
definite.
You peeped that.
Sound people throwing him around, and then he's over here, Steven like. Yeah,
I prefer cricket.
Yeah,
I like that.
So good, just so like, he makes him so awkward. And somebody was pointing out
at the end of not the end of episode 5, but the end of episode 4 when they first meet Taweret.
Taweret.
Mark just steps back and is screaming, but you can kind of see Steven like scream, and he's also like waving back. He's like, ah! Like he's so like he can't help but wave back because this very nice hippo lady waved to him.
You need to prep
first.
for these roles, man. Like you gotta just prep for 2 people, huh?
So good. Oh man, yeah.
Showing up
I
to work
can't
for
even
2 people.
imagine the mind fuck.
It'd be like, all right, look, let's get rid of Steve, and then we'll bring Jake out because
I gotta be in a very different place for those 2 guys.
I'm tearing myself apart here. What's his fight style gonna be? Shit.
Just probably a little more Batman-esque.
Yeah.
Just barrel through and take people down.
New York accent. We got to see not Khonshu's origin story, but we got to see their Moon Knight origin.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I was wondering one thing, but let me ask you this because I couldn't quite hear it. I put the captions on. It was different from what I was hearing. He said, protect the travelers. I want you to be my, not guardian, my soldier or whatever to protect the travelers of, did he say travelers of the light or night?
Night. Travelers
Because I saw night on the screen, but I heard him saying light. He didn't say light at all. It was night.
Nah, he was saying travelers of the night.
All right, travelers of the night. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, when he said, all right, he's about to kill himself. He's like such a waste. And all that. Do you think, because Stephen was saying he manipulated you and stuff like that. Do you think it was a sort of a manipulation? I mean,
oh yeah, I mean like
he's just taking advantage of a guy in a situation.
Yeah, if you're trying to get anything, if you're trying to get somebody to do something for you,
why?
Wait till they're at their lowest. We don't know what Khonshu's powers are necessarily when he doesn't have an avatar.
Right.
We don't know what limits he has, but like he was near the tomb. Could have said something earlier. Could have intervened. I don't know. Could he have intervened? I don't know. But like, yeah, he waited till Mark was at his like lowest point, and then
offered him.
If someone horrible, like you're drowning, someone horrible tosses you a little like flotation device, like, well, shit, I guess I have to take it, right? Like it's
Yeah.
Either Adolf Hitler saved my life or I drown. Like, I'm gonna grab that. Like, it's an unwinnable scenario.
But you don't think Mark wanted it at all?
I think Mark says it in this episode. It let him just keep doing what he was already doing. Just under, now he had like a moral umbrella to like hide under.
Oh, okay. All right.
He was at least morally justified for killing these people, and that wasn't just random people he was paid to kill.
Gotcha. I wonder why he was about to put the gun in his mouth in the first place too.
Oh, he was dying. He was so done.
Dude, that's it.
Well,
like damn.
It just depends on how you want to go. You could sit there. So like,
because we know the story about him, like Layla. What the story told Layla about the dad and everything, how he got there and all, and his buddy, I guess, turned on him and shot him.
Yeah, he feels betrayed. He feels guilty. I mean, just if you want to speak just physically, he's probably in a lot of pain. Like he's eventually he's gonna bleed out and he's just gonna like fall asleep. But like he's gonna be in a lot of pain the whole time. Not to mention you're in the Middle East, which is a desert.
Oh yeah.
So
it's
probably dropping to like 20 degrees.
So make it quicker, kill yourself.
Yeah. So like you're bleeding out. That's gonna make you cold. Not to mention it's cold outside, so you're gonna be freezing. Just would you want to like die slowly and be uncomfortable, or just you're done?
All right, just wanted you to help me make sense of it. Okay, sounds about right. I feel you. Well, after they show us the flashback and then the whole phone thing, and Steven realizes where he came from, and that he did what was made up from Mark's mind. They get back on the boat. And you see all these souls spiraling down into the underworld. They're like, what's going on? Arthur up there fucking shit up when I'm it. She's like, the souls, Taweret was like, the souls are being judged before their time and stuff like that. He's up there just throwing souls around. What the fuck is going on up top or whatever? You know what I mean?
I'm eager to see.
Where's Layla at? Like, is she going to be? Because I remember he said,
get out of here. She dipped
up there.
And then he got shot.
He's like, any way to get word to Layla to tell her to free Khonshu.
Yeah.
wow, this is fucking episode gonna open up. The next one gonna open up, man.
I
Damn.
have no idea. We have this beautiful
Shit.
Spanish sonnet happening as he's in the field of reeds.
Yes, the old field of reeds.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there, and there's just
Spanish
music in the background. And he's just like, I can't be here. I got shit to do. Like, what are we doing, man?
Is he stuck now? Or
I don't know.
Oh, I guess a Khonshu. Because Khonshu resurrect mugs.
Yeah, Khonshu can resurrect people, I think.
Right.
But
Yeah, because he getting shot and stabbed all through. I guess it could help him. But damn, man. What I'm trying to figure out what the battle's gonna be like. Is Arthur still alive or needed by Amit? Had Amit judged him, moved him on, and that was just her, and she out there wrecking shit. Does she still need him to be his the avatar?
mm-hmm.
And she's working through him, and then Moon Knight's gonna have to come. There's a lot of questions here too that need some answering.
If I'm thinking like classic superhero type stuff, I think we're going to get a scene where
Moon Knight versus Arthur.
Who's your favorite girl?
Oh, her name Yatsil.
Yeah, I think Yatsiel's gonna find Layla,
or
bring her in.
Hathor, I guess is
She's gonna crack open Khonshu, set him free.
Yes.
Mark in the field of reeds is gonna get his powers back. He's gonna zip on over, grab Steven, bring him out.
Oh,
they're gonna go to those doors. Thank Towerette on their way out. Go through the doors.
Thank Towerette.
Hop back out and be like, all right, now it's game time. And then they're gonna fight
like
Arthur Harrow.
Arthur and Mark versus. Arthur versus Mark.
Yeah.
Amit versus Khonshu.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like if I get everything I want, that'll be a fun way to start it.
Yes. What about Layla? Where's Layla gonna be at?
That's what I'm saying. What's her face is gonna grab her, bring her to the place. She's gonna crack open.
Oh,
Khonshu,
okay, I got you.
And then probably bring her back to the fight.
So Yatsil will get Layla.
Yeah.
Or Layla will get, okay.
Because Layla has to get to that place, and
yeah.
as far as we know, only certain people can find their way in there.
And then Sod kicked that one dude that was in there that put him up on the shelf.
Yes, please.
That bastard. Yeah, so now, so that happened. The whole, we see him being judged and stuff like that. So shit's going down and can't wait to get back up there and help it. Steven, who was it? Oh, Mark tells Steven it wasn't your fault. Just wanted to circle back around to that. So he tells him it wasn't your fault. I was like, it's not the moment of mine. So then they get back up in the boat and they see the scales are still tipping, and Towerette says, so I guess it's goodbye because you gotta get off my boat, because by the time the trip is over, if the scales haven't been balanced, then you gotta get off the boat and you stay forever in Duat in the afterlife.
Yeah. Duat.
So so these afterlife demons, was it the same people that he killed?
Yeah.
Oh, so
it's their.
they kind of clopping on the boat.
It was their bodies, their same exact, like, I don't know, maybe the sand is playing tricks, but it's the same faces.
People, yeah. So now they fighting these people off and stuff like that, and then finally Steven steps up, and he ain't just sticking to the maps. He's actually getting the bat and fighting people back.
Gets dragged down, man,
which is dope, and he gets knocked overboard. But see, he gets knocked overboard, and then the scales are even once he freezes up, or he looks like Lot's wife turns into salt and sand, and then does he disappear?
No.
It just turns into sand.
Yeah, he just gets stuck there.
Yeah. And then, like you said, Mark flashed into the field of reeds.
Yeah, it was like boom, and like, oh, did he get through the doors? What's happening? Oh, he's in the field of reeds. Crap.
Yeah, just like that. Oh, scales are balanced. They showed him turn the sand, and then they showed the scales, right?
Yeah.
And then they did that. Damn. So now a bunch of questions that we need to answer. Is Steven going to return? That's something I want to know too.
I hope so.
Or you think they done with him? Does the third personality appear? And if he does, or if he doesn't, or if he does, why? What makes him appear? Has he already appeared? I think we might ask the question. Has he already appeared? Which, with Joe's testimony of the accent, I believe he already appeared.
Man, it was so distinct.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it as soon as we done it too. Doctor. Who's gonna battle Arthur and Amit? Is Layla gonna survive? What is Layla up to? right now when she dipped out.
Trying to get out of that freaking tomb, man. Hope she doesn't run into any one of those undead mummies.
Oh my god.
So
that
creepy.
episode. Shit. But yeah, so before we dig into it, my overall thoughts is the fight sequences are dope. Layla got a brand new outfit. Khonshu got a brand new outfit. Overall, it's an awesome show. It's an awesome show overall. This last episode seemed a little bit rushed, but which in turn gives a testament to the rest of the series, which like I kept saying every time we got together that each episode packed a lot in. This is a small time and they did it real good. The pacing. This one seemed a little rushed. I wish they had like another episode to stretch it out a little bit. But yeah, it was great. And then Yatzil made an appearance, you know, Avatar of Hathor.
They did real quick.
Music got us music and loving
she also
music.
I think got killed.
Yeah,
that was the dark days. But so Manji vs. Joe, you got to see this overall thoughts before we dig into the highlights and stuff like that. What's your overall thoughts of episode 6 and the series, you know, as a whole?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Like I was really happy with a lot of it. I'm glad it ended the way it did. Yeah, it just seemed really rushed. Like I get it. Like you like looking at the plot points and things, like you had a lot to get done in a very short amount of time. I feel like if you could have almost quickened the pace of everything that happened in the asylum. In the previous episode, you could have gotten a little bit of Layla getting her Scarlet Scarab outfit, talking to Yatzil.
Yes.
Talking to Yatzil, getting into the thing and like breaking Khonshu's statue. And then you could have kicked off just straight from there. And then you had more time to develop all the rest of that stuff. But yeah, I was really happy. I loved her outfit. I loved that she got to kick some ass. We were talking about it a little earlier that some people will complain that like, oh, you know, the female character always gets her like super suit in the last episode, and then all of a sudden she's good at stuff. And I would agree because like give them their own show or get them their stuff halfway through the series.
Right.
Like I agree that they shouldn't wait till the last episode before they have the girls suit up. Give them a show. Make them a main character. There's no point not to at this point.
I agree. Mariah, your overall thoughts this this last episode and the series as a whole?
I really liked it. I really did enjoy myself the entire way. I know that there's some differences about how the ending was, what have you. I mean, the whole thing with these Marvel shows is that like we almost speculate to the point of absurdity with certain things, you know.
And the movies,
And the movies, yep, which we will talk about later. But I really liked it. I think it hit all of the emotional notes that the last episode, which was basically just, you know, talking in rooms. Basically, like, there was no action, really, except for that very, very last fight with, like, the sand monsters. Everything else was just talking in rooms, and I feel like if all of that time spent on the emotion hadn't paid off in the last episode, I would have been really upset. Why, you know what I mean? It would have felt like wasted time. But yeah, overall, I loved it. Having the scene where Oscar Isaac just doing his but switching so fluidly between Steven and Mark, not only with the costumes but also with the dialogue. Like we haven't seen that yet. It's always been very disjointed. So when it flowed from one to the next and back again, by far that was my favorite part of the movie.
In like one shot too.
Yeah, that was a good shot.
It's like backing up and it's like his face is his posture.
I mean, the physicality, the vote, like everything, also, being able to see it back and forth was amazing.
Steven definitely came into his own in this episode. Like he's sitting there haggling and arguing with Khonshu.
When he sat down on the rock chilling.
He did.
He's like, well, I'm just gonna sit here and I love the Steven bit where he tackles Arthur Harrow into that like looks like the window of a TV store or something. And like throws him off to the side and he like he like wipes off his jacket, wipes off his sleeve, walks straight over and then immediately gets wrecked. Straight into the I'm like, what a Steven moment. Bam! It's ruined. It's so good.
Yeah, a lot of fights the fighting and it was dope. It was really dope. It was kind of cheesy to run the running up the pyramid. That was kind of cheesy.
Like kind of sideways.
Yeah, that was Marvel right there. That was like, we still Marvel, y'all. Marvel's still in the building.
It felt like the problem was the battle between like Ahmet and Khonshu almost felt pointless.
Oh, like they didn't
like
need
the
to have
big
that
kaiju versions of them were
there.
like up there fighting by the pyramids. I'm like, but the real fights down here.
The only time it was really neat was when they mirrored it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I like
Like,
that's what that shot
If
when you
we
seen them
had-
fighting and
if
they were
we
back there.
If we only
that was
had
dope.
that shot and the rest of it was just Mark, Steven, and Arthur,
Yeah.
and that was the only shot we got of the gods fighting, I think that would have worked better.
And if we had gotten, like, if Ahmet had started, like, if she'd gotten, like, a hold of Khonshu's head and started, like, crushing it, and, like, you heard cracking, and then, like, the suit was starting to, like, fade, there would have been some, like, I would have cared about their fight, because it actually had consequences down on the ground, but they were just kind of throwing each other and, like...
Yeah, because even... Like in this thing, I have this graphic up here when he was like.
I was just gonna say I like the scepter to the neck thing.
When he was kicking her butt, or either one was being affected.
Yeah,
the
had a
suit
moment
wasn't-
either
the suit
way.
wasn't
Like
being affected, right?
he really jams into her
No,
neck,
not that
and
we
then
saw.
Arthur Harrow's like cane turns back into this like the crocodile head. Rather
I like
than
that
the
moment
axe.
too. I just like the way it turned into the alligator. The cane was like.
Yeah.
Yes.
But no, I don't think we really saw. I mean, this is the thing about TVs, movies, and filmmaking, though. Maybe there were
moments
cuts.
that they shot.
Maybe there were moments where they shot those things, and they just test audiences weren't catching them, so they said this is slowing it down. You know, like we don't know who's to say, but that shot of them mirrored behind them fighting. Mm-hmm. So good.
Another moment I liked. Is when the asshole dude who took this Khonshu statue and put it away when he died. That was great to me. Yeah. I didn't like when Yasil died, but when he died, I was like, the fuck you get. Well, he did help out a little bit in the end, though. But they could have gave those lines to Yasil instead of to that bull. But
but he was
that's just me being.
But he was Osiris's avatar.
Right.
I think what they were implying is that like Osiris's avatar dying was what made Osiris open his gates again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
To let them back.
All right. That makes sense.
That's what I think it was. It's like, holy shit, things are really going down. I need them back too. Yeah. And so it was Osiris's own avatar getting killed that opened the gates, I think.
And freaking Towerette coming in clutch with the freaking boat getting out the way
God,
of the sand.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you about that scene. When he goes back to get
goes back for Steven.
Yeah. Like, should he have done that?
No.
And
like there's really serious stuff going on the real world, and you gotta get back. But
I'm not.
I think it's, it had to happen. Read it as a testament to how close him and Steven have grown, or like how much his arc has led him to value Steven.
The scales were balanced when Steven was gone, so why go back and get him?
Well, because
I think it's because.
Did it need to be? Did he need to lose him in order to appreciate him? Or you know what I mean? That's all I was trying to like. Why go back and get? I like Of course,
I want to know your read on this.
We like to call it.
What my read on it is like Steven was basically created to protect Mark.
Steven, yeah.
And so Mark all this time had kind of been like pushing him away, resenting him, like putting up the wall between them. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it was almost like the moment that Steven was actually able to like fulfill his purpose and Mark appreciating and accepting that, I think is what balanced the scales, is how I read it.
Oh, so before he went overboard, the scales should have been balanced.
I don't know per se, and this is where it gets.
That's what I'm like, because he went to the field.
Though.
Yeah,
I'd have to watch the scene again closely.
Well, because we don't see. I think the order of operations is Steven goes over the edge. Mm-hmm. Mark is reacting to that, and then after his reaction, Tara is saying your scales have balanced.
Yeah, then just
so they could have balanced before Steven went over the edge.
And we just didn't see it. Yeah.
And Tourette told him after it had occurred, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, hey, I know you just went through something, but look, your scales have balanced, So I think it was purposely ambiguous, that we don't know when exactly they balanced.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's getting too big brain into it. But...
Well, they're gonna be unbalanced soon. Soon as well, there's not gonna be another season, but
Mr.
But the
Lockley.
movies.
yeah.
I
If he shows up in the movies, that'd be dope.
oh
So,
I'm sure
Please
he's gonna
do.
be our Moon Knight.
well, I mean,
Like
what do you mean?
Yeah,
right
he's the only
now,
one who knows.
he is Moon Knight
Mm-hmm.
because he's the only one with the deal with Khonshu. I can foresee maybe Mark and Steven
Finding out about it.
finding out about it and re-signing a deal with Khonshu to try and keep Jake out of it, like keep him more locked away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I think for right now, he's the only one who has a deal with Khonshu.
Also, Marvel, bold move,
What's that?
making your climactic fight scene happen in like a skip moment for Mark.
Oh my god.
What do you mean?
Like he's
Mark
on the
blacked
floor
out.
and he's getting the freaking like soul sucked out of him by the
Yeah, staff.
the
The
staff.
staff.
And then he
Oh,
cuts out.
that. Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
then all of a sudden,
He's that bold movie.
everyone's
okay, I got
dead.
you. Yeah, yeah.
Everything's on fire. Arthur
Yeah.
Harrow looks like he's dead. He's got his own axe to his face, and he's just like,
I'm pretty sure Joe said out loud, "We don't get to see it."
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
While we're
Layla's just
sitting
sitting
on
there
the
like, "Are you okay, man?
We gotta get like.
You freaked the hell out, bro."
They had to have like filmed that, and then you'll get on the Disney Plus specials
I bet
if
they
you
didn't.
if you.
No.
I bet
I
they
don't think
did.
they
Because it'd be dope, so dope if you just go back. If it's something they have
Yeah.
like Jake's story or something like that, you get to see
Yeah.
everything he
I
did
don't
in each
think
of them,
they
and just
did.
him whooping ass.
I think
through
they're
all of
cheeky
them,
little
but-
bastards,
I
and I
mean,
don't think
yeah,
I
they
don't
gotta
think
show
they
you.
filmed
Because
it.
it's. Do you think it's because it's Marvel Disney and Disney doesn't want to show you the rated
No, I
R
think
No.
it's, I
shit
think it's
that
more
Jake
of a
does?
narrative thing that like
No, it is.
Mark
I-
and Steven are our guys, and so anything that Jake does is we don't know. If they don't know,
The
we
way
don't
I
know.
think of it too is
it's,
like
it's bold and I like it.
it's not just the fact that like I think because with all the Netflix Marvel shows coming to Disney Plus, I think they're not really necessarily afraid of the violence because now they have
Oh,
the
okay.
mature rating.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
for
right,
me,
right.
it almost reminds me of
Goddamn
like
coding.
we'll be getting into slight horror tropes later.
Mm.
But I hate horror movies. I'm just gonna say that right out the gate. But one thing that I've heard that I completely agree with is it's like the monster in your imagination is almost scarier than anything they can put on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's like we know Jake Lockley is extremely violent, but it's almost like if we don't see
yeah.
how they got to that aftermath,
True.
then it's like our own imaginations run wild.
True, 'cause
And
when
that's
they-
probably even more amazing than anything they could show
Yeah.
us.
When they first did it
Mm-hmm.
in that desert area where like the kid got dropped off the
Yep.
edge and like people just did like who got stabbed up so strong and like
Yep.
did he
Yeah.
cut in and up? We don't
Not
know.
to
What,
mention-
Yeah.
My brain, he
Because-
cut in and up.
That's what I'm saying.
So-
But it's like the things you don't see is almost like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
And we got a great taste of it when we finally did see Jake. Like
Oh,
we just see all of the hospital staff dead. Like you didn't have to kill all the hospital staff, but he did because he wants to. And then he's wheeling them out, and like perfect description of his like wanton, needless destruction.
Mhm.
Throws Arthur Harrow in the thing, shuts the door, moves the wheelchair like 5 feet, and then just kicks it.
yeah.
And then gets in the
Yeah.
car, and he's like, "Yeah, man, this guy's just a sociopath. He's just
Jake-
unhinged.
Yeah.
He's got
No fucks.
anger issues."
Everything.
It's all of Mark's anger.
I was about to say
issues
all of that.
And I think
channeled
it's
into-
in the same way that Steven was like there to protect him from his mother's rage. I think Jake is there to protect him from like the morally gray areas of mercenary life.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think because me and you were talking about it I think last week. The broken nose one. Remember you
I
said
totally-
you think
I
it slipped
still
in
think
it? You
that's-
think that's still Jake?
Yeah, there was a little bit of like
'Cause I think so too.
I was a little tenuous about it because the only words we've actually like confirmed have heard Jake Lockley speak are in a different language.
Yeah.
So like
But it still didn't seem like either one of them though. He
haven't-
seemed just confused enough.
so technically the only thing we've seen Jake say when we know it's Jake is something in a different language. So like maybe the intent is that he only speaks that language, but I doubt it.
Can I say something interesting?
Yeah.
I have a little anecdote. So as we all know, as I've said on like every episode of this podcast, I also like to listen to nerd podcasts.
Right.
I will also listen to other people talk about the things we talk about.
Right.
So they
that's good.
on the Ringerverse, one of the hosts, Joanna Robinson, did an interview with Mohammed Diab, who is the director.
Oh, nice.
And she's like, I don't know if you can answer this, but I will ask you directly.
Is that Jake?
Was that Jake, or was the end credit scene the first time we ever saw or heard Jake on camera?
Cool. She got to ask somebody.
And he said, I will tell you this. He goes, the script and the scripted lines for the scenes that you're referring to are Mark. They were meant to be Mark and Steven back and forth. He said, however, there was a lot of gray area between the directors and the other actors on the show not knowing if Oscar Isaac was pulling out different facets of his alter egos while they were on set. So he goes, when I watch it back and when I was on set, there was parts of myself saying, is that Mark that we're seeing right now?
That's Jake, man.
It's but it's so weird because they
didn't deny it, so
they did not
they're confirming it, and
but
they're
well, he
not
did say,
denying
he
it.
said, I will tell you that I think the end credit scene was the first we saw or heard Jake. Is what the director says. But he said, with that, I'll tell you, everyone else on set was like, Oscar Isaac's doing his shit, and we don't know what the hell he's doing right now.
He's the director.
I think Oscar Isaac's taking that to his grave.
Oh.
I say that was Jake for sure.
I think so too.
With the
Me too.
With the pyramid, gotta be.
Yeah,
Gotta
that
be.
same scowl that he gave in that office was the same when he had in the back of that cab. He
The
turned
same
around.
glass-eyed look where he's just like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, so you're a doctor? And
And it had...
because he was
It was a
asking
different act.
Steven, I think, right? I think in that scene, Harold was like, Steven, is that you? And he was like, it was supposed to be
believe
Steven,
so.
but Steven don't act like that.
No.
Or was it supposed to be Mark?
It was supposed to be Mark.
Mark.
it's supposed to be Mark.
It was
he's
supposed to be
talking
Mark that Hero was
It's
talking
later
to,
in the
was
episode that
talking
he
to.
he
But-
says Steven's like, can I talk to Steve? That's
But
it.
I am hard pressed to believe that wasn't Oscar Isaac pulling out
Gotta
Jake and just playing up for everybody, showing off and showing out.
Yeah. Oh,
I think it was.
real quick, the fights. I just wanted to touch base with you because Joe's a professional fight and stunt choreographer,
He is.
stunt coordinator. So I just was curious the fighting scenes with the give me that technical term of the two stiffs.
Kali?
Is that what they are?
The scrimmage sticks.
Scrimmage sticks,
Some people
yes.
call 'em that.
Did all that look good? And was that all on
Solid.
point and everything? And
Solid work? Yeah.
and Lila's fight? Layla's
fight.
fight. Ah, you said-
All of it looked good.
yeah. I thought so. And I was
Didn't have
like,
any
I got to ask Joe about
It's
this.
a little rough because like her wings are CGI, so there was a little bit of like
Yeah.
you could kind of tell, but it's good work.
Did she not, though?
I enjoyed them thoroughly.
Is she
Yes.
now the new favorite winged character? Like, did Falcon, our new Captain America, just get like fucked
Yeah,
with
Falcon,
his costume?
Falcon, you got get out
Oh,
of
we
here.
were talking about it today at work.
Look at them wings, man.
We were laughing. They're like,
Shit, the whole
oh,
outfit.
yeah, Wonder Woman, eat your heart out.
Oh,
That's how you do golden wings.
Oh my God, you're so right.
she
Oh,
had golden wings too. Yeah, she had
Absolutely
wings.
right.
Yeah, her
In
like
the- one
her,
of-
I like
like
this outfit
invincible
better, too.
armor.
In
like,
probably the worst
Oh.
superhero movie ever made,
Oh,
Wonder
that's
Woman
so
84.
That was a dope outfit in a bad movie, but
Yeah.
this outfit
do it.
overall was dope.
Yeah, agree.
yeah, I just
I
wanna-
love that they kept her natural hair out.
Me
They
too.
didn't
I
touch
said
it,
they
like,
had the curly hair with it.
love it.
I just want to gush over it a little bit.
Love
So I have let's go Marvel Unlimited quote from her
Yeah.
about her outfit. I was gonna read that real quick.
oh yeah.
So this comes from Marvel Unlimited. May Calamari.
Calamway, I think
Calamway?
is it.
Yes.
Calamari though now needs
She
to be
said, did I say calamari? I'm sorry, Calamawi. Calamawi? I'm sorry, May, if I'm messing your name up. All right. Oh, she says, it's funny because the pants were incredible. We had this man named Wilbur, shout out to Wilbur, who had hand painted all of the designs on the pants, which I loved, and on the neck. The top part keeps you straight. I figure she's talking about with the
Yeah.
posture. So you're walking around already like this. I guess she gestured. And it
Superhero.
feels really regal and
Yeah.
royal. It's really cool. It's cool when you forget and you look down and you're like, whoa, you're damn right.
You look
Whoa.
great.
Because that shot, just that with when she first like broke him out, she was
Yeah.
all slow with like, what is
Yeah,
this
she's reaching
from?
for the
My-
daggers behind
Yeah.
her.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And she put it to use good too. And like some people on some podcasts were saying like, how she learned how to. I was like, well,
She was a fighter
I
before.
was like, how
Always
she
a
learned how to
fighter.
operate what? You give a fighter certain weapons, like,
Tools,
they're gonna do
yeah.
what they can. You ain't see she took off her necklace and stabbed somebody in the throat
Yeah.
with it.
She knows how to use knives.
Oh
So
my
what is
God.
the difference between a bladed weapon here and then wings that have blades? It's the same motions.
Yeah.
There's nothing changes. It's
Oh,
like learning
she
how to
was
use
doing
a
it.
stick or a pipe or a wrench.
One of my favorite moments. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're
Oh, no, I was gonna say.
You're gonna ditch.
Because when
very
you were
true one,
going
though.
to it, I was just thinking about the scenes her fighting and everything, and like she had super strength too, right?
It looked like she had
Yeah, a little
some
bit.
She
enhancements.
ripped something off with like a door or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite scenes when the little girl said, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?"
Yeah.
My God,
So
I was like,
good.
"Why are you an Egyptian superhero?" She said, "Yes."
Yeah.
Scarlet Scarab is the
Yeah.
name of the
Scarlet
character that
I've
she
heard
is.
some people say, and I'm curious on your guys' opinion on this. It just popped into my brain. Some people were saying, I wonder if it would have hit even harder if she had just asked, "Are you a superhero?" in Egyptian, like in Arabic, in the language.
Oh, that would
And then
been
she
dope,
would
too.
have responded back in their language.
I got
You know what
chills
I
just
mean?
now. I think
They
that
said
would
it almost was a
I just got chills, yeah.
little bit towing the line of pandery.
Yeah,
Like
because
they
she
made
said it,
they
said it in
made the
English.
they made the comp of like going to
Okay.
Black Panther and saying, "Oh, are you a black superhero?" Or are
Gotcha,
you a
gotcha.
superhero? You know what I mean? Like it almost I think it would have maybe slight
That's only
changes you can
kind
do.
of different.
but
I don't know.
I hadn't-
She doesn't look like not doesn't look, but she could look without
yeah.
speaking. She can look like she's from anywhere.
But yeah, the
I
little
guess.
girl asking
But-
in Egyptian and her. I'm so
I
sorry to
like that.
everyone if the language is not actually called Egyptian. I don't know if they were speaking Egyptian or if they were speaking Arabic.
Oh, I got you. But if she was
yeah,
if they
she's-
would have, the little girl would have spoken her native tongue and just
Yes.
asked, "Are you a superhero?"
And yeah, Layla would have answered in it. I think
Yeah.
it would
Even
have
Egyptian though, I think Egyptian would have been okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Like
Yeah,
if
have the
somebody
subtitles,
said
we'll
to
get
America Chavez, "Are you a Mexican superhero?" And she
Yeah.
was like, "Nah, I'm Puerto Rican."
Right?
And like I mean, it'd be
That's
like, "Oh, well,
true.
she answered, she
Yeah.
answered the question." But
Oh no.
Yeah.
but yeah, that character. I want to see more of her. Will we see more of her?
I'm sure. Oh,
Gotta hope so.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Where does this? I mean, was there any other highlights that y'all had before? 'Cause I got another question I wanted to ask. Leads on to something else.
It brings a lot of the last little monologue that Khonshu has brings a lot of light to what happened in like Sweden, like when they're trying to get the golden scarab out of his hand, and then Stephen blacks out and then he's got blood all over his hands,
Right.
and like that whole interaction that happens, we all thought was Mark doing it. That was definitely all Jake,
It was definitely Jake.
because Khonshu's the only one talking. Mark isn't saying anything.
Oh, you went back and checked it out?
Yeah, watched
Okay.
it, and it's like first of all, like Mark is more calculated with his violence. Said it before, and Mark doesn't end up with blood all over him when he's
No.
done fighting.
Right.
No.
Right.
And like the fact that Khonshu knew about Jake the whole time
Yeah.
and was actively using him,
Absolutely.
and if you've got the golden scarab finally in your hands, like they've been kind of wanting to get it,
Right.
you send your best guy, who's Jake.
You go ahead.
And so, like, when he's talking and he's like, oh, great, the idiot's got the gun. Or the idiot's back. And then, like, he just throw the gun. Like,
Yeah.
that thing. He's talking to Jake.
You make me think. Hold on. I don't know.
There's only one time he said
pieces
give
in
the
my
body
head.
back to Mark, though. But that could just be Khonshu not playing his hand.
When does he... Is that...
Oh, in
He
the
does.
episode?
In the
One
first
or
episode?
two times in the first episode, yeah. He says give the body back to Mark.
In the end, Mark wakes up in the... Who... It is Mark that wakes up in the bed and he gets out the bed and trips, right?
That's Steven.
That's Steven.
That was Steven?
He just forgets that he's locked up to it. He's
Yeah.
All right,
just
I'm about to
freaking
say,
out.
all right.
But yeah, I agree. I think that scene where his hands were completely bloodied and the golden scarab is in his bloody hand and everyone around him was deader than dead, I think that blip specifically was Jake.
Mm-hmm.
I think all the other times back and forth, it was Mark. Because Khonshu does say give the body back to Mark.
Does he say Mark?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to watch it again.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, but that one, when they were surrounded, like, he blipped and then that one lady was standing there, like, what the hell? And
Yeah,
the
I
people,
think
like,
that was
did.
Jake.
Like, yeah, I was gonna say, that
Absolutely,
could've-
because that seemed more violent than anything else
Yeah.
Mark did in the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Mark
so
was
that-
more of like
now
a
when I go back, I'm
mercenary
gonna just watch to
executioner,
see.
not necessarily
Yeah.
in it for the violence, you know?
Yeah. Like, look, we necessarily need to get out of this situation. Get in there, Jake.
Not to
I'll take them
mention,
all.
it definitely means that Arthur Harrow called his shot so hard in the third episode where he's like, I wonder if Khonshu picked you because your mind was so fragile or because it was already broken. Picked him because it was already broken. He
Yeah,
probably saw
yeah.
Jake Lockley and was like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Mark's
Yes.
all right.
Yeah.
But like, Jake's who I'm
Yep.
looking for.
And you're here at my feet, so let's go.
Yep.
I had two questions. I don't know if I want to. I could ask one of them. It's just about Layla. Like, do you think they've reconciled their differences?
No.
Layla
think they have
Layla
some
and Mark.
work.
They have some
I
work.
think they've
I
got
do think they
a
have
lot
a
of
lot of
work
work.
to do because like
If-
now Steven's involved.
I don't think she's out. I don't think she's out of the relationship. I think they have some work to do,
So
but
technically, if they were to be involved,
It's gonna be weird.
Is it like a three?
I've heard the
threesome
word.
every
I've
time?
heard the word thruple thrown
Thruple.
around, and I
Thruple.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Do you think
a
they
three
was?
couple.
This
a
is grown
thruple.
folk talk now. Do you think Mark and Stephen would go back and forth, or is like only Mark get dibs because that's my wife?
It's
I
gonna be
feel like
complicated.
literally, if Mark
It's gonna be
if
complicated.
Mark could stop Steven from ever taking control when Layla's around, he would, because I know he loves Steven, but like Layla's his girl. But like if Steven ever, like, I use the split reference, like took the light, I think Mark would be pissed.
Yeah.
And
Not
then we
to
don't
say
know
that
what
it
the hell
wouldn't
Jake gonna do. Jake
happen.
just gonna be, he's filthy. I don't know what Jake gonna do. He's just gonna be filthy. Out there in the streets and stuff. He already asked that one girl to a steak dinner.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Filth. But
Layla got nothing to do with that. We saw her with Conchu. She ain't got time for that bullshit.
Yeah.
I was going to Towerette.
Yeah.
As nice. Well, she seemed like nice and kind and stuff. That's what you presenting as like wings and blades and stuff like that. Like, how come she ain't come out? Well, I guess none of them really look like their avatar, do they?
Yeah. I mean, because like even Moon Knight's armor, I think Mark refers to as like the ceremonial armor
Okay.
Conchu's avatar,
of
yeah.
Khonshu's out. Yeah. So like and Towerette's even like, I've got a perfect outfit picked out
Just
for
got
you.
it in
Like,
the
I have a
closet.
great idea.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think they can kind of customize and create
Yeah.
as they see fit.
And then Steven said, I want a suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said,
I'm more proper.
"Summon the suit."
Oh, somebody else is asking is not they didn't ask, but they're like it would be dope if the limo was Jake's suit. So he just wears whatever and like the limo is just what he has.
Oh
And
my
like whenever
God.
he summons
That's
the suit,
funny.
the limo comes and like the limo has like maybe
That
some
would be funny.
some like 007 shoot like it's bulletproof and all that, tinted
That's
windows,
so
gas people up if
funny.
you're in there.
Oh my gosh.
That's his suit. I was like, what? So you step out the cab, then what? The car just disappears. I mean, because Conchu had a suit on, man. He's looking fresh too.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he was looking real good.
God, I think it's because, like you said, that's who he wanted was Jake. Say, oh, Jake's here. Let me look proper for
Freshen
Jake.
up a bit.
Now let's
That's
go
who
get
he wanted
everybody.
to charm,
Yeah.
wine and dine. Was Jake.
Jake gonna get his own series. I hope he get like a little something. Just give us a little something. A little.
No, I
You
wanted
don't think
more
they tape?
Jake.
You don't think they shot the stuff?
You
I wanted more Jake.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, the other thing was where do you rank this in your Disney Plus series, Marvel series? Where's the rank? The top three, top
Are
five?
we doing our
You have to
quick
go to
ranking
the.
through?
You know, no. That's
I
I mean that's too
remember
much.
what my
I just
rankings
sprung
were.
that on
Top
y'all.
three.
But is it
Four.
top three?
It's
Top
top three.
five? Top three?
It's top 3.
All right. It's top three for me.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Top
Yeah.
three?
It's three.
Because it's so
It's three.
so intricate, man.
It's
Yes.
three, but it's top three.
Top three. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. It's just so much.
Yeah.
It's so much.
Oscar Isaac. I don't watch him do anything.
The fucking horror aspect came thrown in there. The psychological thrills, all the fighting, it's all good stuff.